Iowa and Michigan on Saturday at the Big House, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time on ABC. Brent Musberger going to call the game. He'll join us to talk about it in just a moment. Hawkeyes have won 2 straight against the Wolverines, and as you can see, that is tied for the longest active streak against Michigan for any opponent. Tied with North Carolina and USC 2 in a row. Tells you a little something about the Michigan program. Lloyd Carr talking about his freshman quarterback.
I tried to say this from the beginning. Every pass play has a progression of reads. The quarterback will go 1, 2, 3. And so where those progressions take him, that's who gets the football. Sometimes a guy isn't open. Maybe he wanted to go to him, he's not open. Or didn't throw to him, made the right read, went to somebody else. There's a lot of things. Maybe the guy didn't run a good route. So there's a lot of things that can happen there. Obviously, the more people that you can involve, the better. And that's something that we're working on every day.
Coach Lloyd Carr talking about the offense as the Wolverines prepare for Iowa. As we said, Brent Musberger going to call the game. He joins us now on the telephone. Brent, as always, thanks for taking the time out.
It's nice to be with you, Dave. And, Coach, how you doing today?
Doing great.
Well, we heard Lloyd Carr talking about his offense, and I think some people in Michigan were a little offended by what happened on Saturday. I mean, they expect to go out and beat San Diego State and beat them handily, and then you've got Iowa going down to the desert and just getting manhandled, crushed by Arizona State. What do you make of the psyches of these two teams heading into this game, Brent?
Now, Dave's going to be very interesting. You mentioned the 2-year winning streak by the Hawkeyes. Let me point out that Iowa has never, as in ever, won 3 in a row over Michigan. And they're the only Big Ten school without a 2-game winning streak in Ann Arbor. And, of course, a couple of years ago, they marched in there and they beat up on the Wolverines 34-9. So the Wolverines are lying in wait. That would be the psyche. I think you kind of throw out the results of last week because the Big Ten is underway. So this is more important to both of these schools. I think that Iowa is in a position that they expected to be in, one of growth. Now they didn't think they were going to get out of the desert and get clobbered like they did on Saturday night. But I think Kirk Ferentz knew that he had his hands full in rebuilding this team. I mean, they lost 5 players to the NFL draft, 7 more as free agents. Had the second player picked, the left tackle, Robert Gowery. I noted this morning in doing some research, Dave and Jim, that they're going to change the offensive line. You got 2 new guards coming in, a left tackle, not to mention a quarterback in the Big House for the first time. It's going to be tough for Iowa.
Hey, Brent, what about Michael Hart? It looks like they got a presence at running back now. They lost Chris Perry last year. The first couple of games, they struggled running the ball. Underwood was out. What's your take on Michael Hart as running back?
Jim, that's a great point. And this appeared to be a little bit of the soft spot for the Wolverines this year. I happened to be doing a Syracuse game 2-3 years ago, and I watched Mike Hart at a high school championship game in upstate New York early that morning before the Orangemen took the field. And, Jim, he's a dandy running back. Set a lot of school records up in New York. He's got a great attitude. He's got a great bounce. Now, he's only 5'9". He's going to have to hold up, and as you know, against some of the big old rascals in the big conferences like your SEC and the Big Ten, that can be tough. But Mike Hart appears to be the future running back for him.
Brent, I have a real hard time seeing how Iowa's going to be able to move the football in this game. I mean, this is a team that got 105 total yards against Arizona State. That's a mere 358 less than our Northwestern Wildcats put up on them the week before against Arizona State. And then they go in the Big House up against a great Michigan defense. How do you see Iowa being able to move the ball? What's Kirk Ferentz going to have to do?
Well, Ferentz will have to play a low-scoring game. His defense will have to get a few turnovers, Dave. That would be critical for him. He's going to have to do some things on the kicking game, but you're exactly right. It's going to be very hard for a quarterback to rotate behind that inexperienced offensive line. One of the blows that Iowa suffered last year is they did not expect their running back, Fred Russell, to jump to the NFL. I mean, the youngster wasn't even drafted, so he got real bad advice. But I have tremendous respect for Kirk Ferentz. I think he's one of the best coaches in college football. And if anybody can find a way to play a low-scoring game in the Big House, it's going to be Kirk. But again, I don't think this is going to be easy. I make Michigan a double-digit favorite in this game.
Hey, Brent, you're down there in South Florida. What do you think of those Miami Hurricanes?
Man, as long as I don't have to duck any other hurricanes named Ivan or whatever, I'm fine. But listen, Miami has the capability this year, Jimmy, to wind up playing in the FedEx Orange Bowl for the championship. I think we've got 4 or 5 elite teams. I'm a little bit surprised that your old Bulldogs haven't put more points up on the scoreboard. They're certainly one of them. You and I both know how hard it's going to be to go undefeated through the SEC. It looks like Miami's got a shot in the ACC. Oklahoma is looking awfully strong, and nobody can look past USC. They clearly are the elite team out there, and I don't know that the Pac-10 can compete with them overall this year. Now, California beat them last year, but they got to go down to the Coliseum this year. So I give Miami a real strong chance to wind up playing for a national championship again.
Brent Musberger going to be calling Iowa and Michigan Saturday on ABC Sports. Brent, we really appreciate you taking the time out. Thanks a lot for your insights.
Yeah, David, Coach, always great to talk to you. You too, take care.
Thanks a lot, Brent.
Thanks, Brent. Kirk Ferentz, head coach of the Iowa Hawkeyes. His team, as we said, coming off a pasting against Arizona State, 44-7, in which nothing went right, just 105 yards of offense for them.
Ugly.
And they gave up 517 yards to Arizona State. Ferentz trying to put the pieces back together in Iowa City.
Is there, in a way, is it maybe a good thing to be playing a team like that and playing a Big Ten opener? You know the guys will be looking ahead.
Yeah, we checked and CW Post wasn't available or interested, I guess, maybe. So, yeah, that's how you have to look at it. You know, I mean, we have no choices in the matter. You know, we certainly didn't want the results we received on Saturday. We got them, and now we get Michigan regardless. So that's exactly how you have to look at it. I mean, you're really starting at the top. They're always one of the league favorites for good reason. I can't remember a bad Michigan team ever, you know. So it's going to be, yeah, we have no, you know, there's no question about do we need to get better. That was pretty evident Saturday, and then this really reinforces that.
How hard has the staff had to work to keep the kids' heads up?
You know, anytime you lose a ball game, it's tough, and whether you lose by 2 or, you know, 42, and it's always tough. So that's always a challenge. And the bottom line is it's always been this way. If you don't get back on your feet and try to do all you can to right things, you know, you're gonna be feeling the same thing a week later. So that'll never change, you know. And you know, you hope everybody feels bad. We should have felt bad. I mean, we earned that. And now what we need to do is do some things to make sure we're not feeling that same way again. And that's the challenge.
Kirk Ferentz talking about, as we said, picking up the pieces after getting absolutely crushed by Arizona State. What did you see in that game? How surprised were you by how bad Iowa's defense was?
Yeah, I was really surprised, particularly with the fact that your Northwestern team really played Arizona State extremely well. I watched the game, and Walter just did a tremendous job picking up his secondary receivers. He had all day to throw. They got no pass rush. He passed for over 400 yards. It was just a thorough, as you would call it, a rear-end kick in there in that game. They took him to the woodshed.
That's Brent's Northwestern team, by the way. Don't blame it on me. You know, Brent's been there for longer than I was
going to say, Northwestern won last week. I thought you'd jump in with that.
They beat Kansas. Sure, the Wildcats have, you know, they're just a few plays away from being 3-0.
Continuing the tradition.
Here he goes. See you later. And he's got it. Touchdown.
ABC Sports Championship Television.
For the Big Ten Conference, the run for the roses is underway. Michigan's title hopes rest on the right arm of freshman quarterback Chad Henne. But with versatile big play man Steve Bruston and the sure-handed playmaker Braylon Edwards, the Wolverines are pointing towards the conference crown. But the Hawkeyes have championship hopes of their own, with sophomore Drew Tate leading their offensive charge. But for a legitimate run at this title, the defense behind stars like Abdul Hodge must make a stand. So it's Iowa at Michigan as the road to Pasadena goes through Ann Arbor on ABC Sports. We welcome you to the BCS Spotlight game presented by ADT. The Big Ten season underway. The Iowa Hawkeyes pay a visit on the Michigan Wolverines. It's one of the grand entrances in all of college football. 107,501 packed into the big house, and here they come. Brent Musberger. Great Saturday afternoon for college football. You know, a few weeks ago, the media voted that Michigan would again represent the Big Ten, at least in the Rose Bowl, if not the BCS championship game. But a few funny things have happened on the way to January 1st. Freshman quarterbacks, freshman running backs, and now it looks like we've got a wide open race that involves about a half dozen schools in the Big Ten. I welcome in my regular partner, Gary Danielson. Gary, let's talk about the Michigan and Iowa teams here. You told me a little bit of a mirror image here.
They really are, Brent. I mean, both teams have great defenses. We knew that, and as advertised, they are. But neither coach, Ferentz or Carr, are in their comfort zone, I don't believe, in this game, because if you look at the ratings of these two teams, both teams are last, 10th and 11th, in rushing the ball. I don't know if that's ever happened in this matchup.
Pressure on some untested quarterbacks. Let's start with Chad Henne of Michigan.
A wonderful talent, and he's got great people around him. If he finds the winged helmet, he'll be fine.
And how about Drew Tate of Iowa?
A little different. This guy's a gamer, but he needs the running game. If Iowa can run, I think Drew Tate can be effective.
We've got a warm story involving Iowa coach Kirk Ferentz. His son, Brian Ferentz, will come off the injured list and play center today for the Hawkeyes. Let's go now to John Saunders.
Along with Aaron Taylor and Craig James, the Hartford Mutual Fund's pregame report. Some action already underway. A lot of people are looking at this Purdue squad and saying they could challenge for the Big Ten championship and perhaps get into the Rose Bowl. And Kyle Orton is a big reason why.
Well, that's the reason. The guy now has 13 touchdown passes on the season and 0 interceptions. With that kind of efficiency, it's tough to beat him.
He also ran for a touchdown, and they have a 38-30 lead. Illinois hung in that game. Air Force against Utah. Sean Carney, a 5-yard touchdown run.
Yeah, the new bolted offensive attack for Air Force. A lot of people thinking adding the run game is going to make the Air Force a little bit stronger offensively. Right now, proven to be true. Up 7-0 on Utah.
All right, our games this afternoon: Washington State, Arizona, and Iowa against Michigan. How do you think the Wolverines will do to bounce back?
I think that's payback time. I think they're going to really come out. I think Michigan has to take advantage of Iowa's offensive line not being the same. They are shuffling at Iowa, and they got to come out at Michigan and dominate up front. That's why I think Michigan wins that game.
I like the stats on this one. Iowa has to come to the big house, and they're also going against a very good Michigan team. But Iowa's never won 3 in a row against Michigan, baby. You got to go with the stats on this one. In the big house, you better come to play.
And in that Arizona game, Mike Stoops has his defense playing extremely well. The game is coming up.
Brent Musberger is so correct. It's all about the Big Ten championship and getting your ticket punched to the Rose Bowl. Consider the plight of the Iowa Hawkeyes getting beat or upset in the desert of Arizona to the hands of Arizona State 1 week ago. A long trip back to Iowa City, but when the players met to lift on Sunday, what greeted them in the middle of the weight room? A porcelain commode. The coaching staff had put it there. Why? They wanted each of their players to realize it was time to flush away the memories of the defeat in Tempe and to start thinking about a Big Ten title. After all, Brent Musberger, in the Big Ten, it's all about a trip to the Rose Bowl.
Pretty fancy word for a toilet, Jackaroo. But there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. And so it's a brand new season as the Big Ten gets underway here in Michigan. The Hawkeyes, the Wolverines won the toss. And as is their custom, they deferred. So Iowa will take the ball here to start the ball game. Weather is beautiful. I want to remind you that we do have instant replay in play. The conference underway now. It'll be used in every Big Ten conference game. The results of the last 2 meetings. The Hawkeyes have embarrassed the Wolverines. It was a breakdown in special teams a year ago. And then 2 years ago, right here in Ann Arbor, they spanked the Wolverines. But Iowa's never won 3 games in a row. Short kickoff, fielded at about the 13-yard line by Bellis, and he is down at the 25. Now let me go back, Gary, on instant replay, and just keep in mind this entire game will be reviewed as Drew Tate comes out, and we ask him what he wanted to accomplish in the first series against the Wolverine defense.
But right when we get the ball the first time, we've got to score. We've got to convert on third downs. And, you know, we just got to come off the ball, and we've got to smash mouth and you know, and just play assignment football and just not do anything dumb.
Line up in the I formation, looking for some sort of a running game. He goes to the air. The middle is wide open. Tony Jackson, the senior tight end from right down the road in Ypsilanti, Michigan, makes the first catch of the game for 28 yards. Looking for a game breaker. Well, maybe it'll be the tight end we just saw. The offensive line, this is the third group that they have used in 4 games. One constant, the left tackle, Lee Gray. He replaces Robert Gowrie at that left tackle spot. From behind Tate, they line Lewis up in the I formation. They run the sweep play, and the Michigan defense swarms it after a gain of about a yard. Now, we talked about the Michigan defense, a little bit of a different look this year. They have 3 down linemen as they have changed their base. Pretty sturdy, especially with Gabriel Watson in there. Patrick Massey, he played a lot last year. Harrison is experienced too. Now 4 linebackers, and this is their base, the 3-4, shifting from a 4-3. The secondary, Marlon Jackson, again a Thorpe Award candidate. Ernest Shazer was also nominated. Jackson, one of the best corners in all of college football. Second down and long for the Wolverines. They go to a single back look, 3 wide receivers, and they run out of it. Behind the right side of that offensive line, but not much doing there.
Well, that's really the game plan that Iowa has to have. They must be able to run the football. You saw Kirk Ferentz dial up a pass play on first down, but I think that just served notice. This play is on us because we must get our running game going.
Penalty flags down at the 46-yard line over toward the Iowa sideline. Our referee today is a good
dead
one.
Ball, personal foul, late hit. Number 3 on the defense. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down. So
Marlon Jackson exerting himself a little too aggressively there. That was Bill Lamonier. He's our referee. His umpire, Rick Nelson. The penalty moves the ball inside the 35-yard line, and the Hawkeyes will go to work right there. Again, 3 wide receivers. This time they line up in a shotgun. Plenty of time, complete to the 10-yard line. Clinton Solomon, the wide receiver from Fort Worth, Texas. And it is first and goal with a 23-yard gain. And Tate has shown a good arm here.
So far, the Iowa offensive line that was run over by Arizona State has given Tate an opportunity to step into his throws. You can see the size of Solomon, 6'4", 200 pounds, and a perfect throw from Tate.
Tate, Hinkle. Hinkle's inside the 5-yard line. It'll be second down and goal from right there.
Now just think about this. Iowa goes to Arizona State, and Kirk Ferentz says, I don't know. I don't know what happened. Maybe it was just one of those things. We just were not ready to play. But you can tell in this opening series, they've come ready to play. And the one thing Michigan has to look to do is put pressure on the quarterback here. Drew Tate was overrun with the blitz by San Diego State. Michigan has not put pressure yet.
Lewis, about 4 yards behind the quarterback. Hinkle's in motion to the left. Tate has plenty of time. Got an alley. Shakes free, but is short of the end zone, down at the 2-yard line. So it'll be third and goal right there.
Just something to watch as you're watching this game unfold, and Michigan will have to take notice. Iowa is last in the Big Ten. They've given up 12 sacks. So far, Michigan has not been able to put any pressure on Tate. Will that force them into blitz and more man-to-man coverage? That's how the game has to unfold for Michigan to try to get pressure on Drew Tate.
Goal line defense in. Third and a tough 2. Iowa to use a fullback in front of Lewis. Tate rolling left to throw for it. Got Hinkle, one-handed grab. Touchdown is the signal by the line judge. Hinkle working over on the side, close to being out of bounds, went for it and came down with it.
Oh my. the one-handed catch, and he comes down. And remember, it is a reviewable play here.
Every play is being reviewed. And from this angle, no question. 1 foot down. Hinkle had it all the way. And now Kyle Schlicker is on to kick the extra point.
Number 1 is Kyle Schlichter.
Verl Sell is the technical advisor. He's off in a booth to our right. He took a good look at it as we did, and it is 7-0. And once the extra point or once any other play has unfolded, then you cannot change anything. But you wouldn't change this one to begin with. Hinkle did a splendid job. Terrific catch by the veteran receiver. 7-0. The Hawks strike first in Ann Arbor. Our first injury report is on the referee. Bill Lamonier, a little gimpy in the right leg, had it taped, and he was slow going to his spot, which is back by the Michigan receivers, as he signals that it's time to play ball. And Schlicker has the ball on the tee for the Hawkeyes. The dangerous one, Breston. And it's fielded on the 4-yard line, and he's well short of the 20. Good special teams coverage by the Hawkeyes. So Chad Henne comes out, and we asked him what he wanted to accomplish on the first series.
Just try to get a big play off right away. Just like last week, we started off with a big play. And I mean, that gets everybody going. You start settling the game. If you get a big play, put points on the board, and hopefully get that chance again.
Now, last week, number 1 created the big play. Braylon Edwards, the 45-yarder for the score. They're looking for a running game, and you can see that Braylon is the Big Ten's leading receiver with 26 catches, 350 yards, and 4 touchdowns. And the offensive line with David Boss moving to center. First down and 10. Braylon drops it. Was it a lateral? He pounces on it.
They called it incomplete. Interesting. Both teams start with a pass.
You know, the Hawkeye defense embarrassed in Tempe last week. Jonathan Babineau receives high grades from the Wolverine defensive staff. They think he will challenge him. Abdul Hodge, they say, play closer to the line than almost any middle linebacker. Great nickname, especially for this area, the Hitman. He's got to probably pay Thomas Hearns a royalty for that. The corners will be under fire in this game. I mean, they were torched by Walter and Arizona State. 2nd down and 10. Draw play with Jackson. Not much doing. And we would expect before long to see the talented freshman from Syracuse, Michael Hart. He is number 20. The play coming in from the sideline is Breston brings it in, and Jackson will come out, and there is Hart. So on cue, the coach told me yesterday it will not take long before you see number 20.
All 3 of the game-breaking receivers are in, 1 tight end and 1 back.
3rd down. High and incomplete, and it is 3 and out for Henne and the Wolverine offense. So the Hawkeyes, some enthusiasm to build on the road. Remember, they have never, ever beaten Michigan 3 straight times, and the Wolverines favored by almost 2 touchdowns coming in here today in the Big Ten opener. Hinkle, who scored the touchdown with that fine catch, is back deep. And Adam Finley, 3-time academic All-American, back to punt. The Hawkeyes got in on him last year at Iowa City. They stormed in on the punting team. This one's good looking punt. Fair catch signal at the 34-yard line. Penalty flag is down, and it's thrown back by the line of scrimmage. So it'll come on back.
Well, that must be, if he's calling it back.
Defensive holding.
Yes, that's
defense.
first down.
Number
Yes.
30, 10-yard penalty. Results first down, Michigan.
That means a holding was prior to the punt. Usually you see those tacked on to the end of the field. That was prior to the punt. That's very unusual.
And if you're wondering about instant replay, just like the NFL, that's not reviewable. So on we go.
Yeah, you can see Kirk Ferentz very upset about that. Usually that just is post-punt and you mark it off at the end. That's a very unusual call. By the way, Iowa is the most penalized team in the Big Ten.
Henney in Michigan with a second chance. Down by 7, coming out from the 29-yard line. Hart is in at the tailback. Kevin Dudley, one of the best blocking fullbacks in the country, offset a little bit to the right. He'll lead the way. Hart stumbles, goes down.
Let's
take a look at the penalty.
Let's go back one play. Right side. See if we can get it right here. Boy, I tell you, you could see the hold right there, but it looked to me it was very close to that ball already being punted on the play. Because remember, that punt is kicked in less than 3 seconds, so that has to happen very quickly.
Second down and 11. And he steps up, fires, strike for a first down to the 42-yard line. Jason Avant, the junior from Chicago, the one-time high school basketball whiz, makes his first catch.
I think that's a good call for the Michigan offense right there. When you got a young quarterback, he threw his first one very badly, kind of got a knuckleball. Throw a curl route. If you're a quarterback, you've been throwing that hook route for 15 years growing up. Just have the guy go out there, stop, and throw one right at his chest. No thinking, just fire it out there.
Edwards, Avant, Preston, just a sensational trio of wideouts. And he fires again, put it in a beautiful spot that time. When he's on target, he throws a nice ball. That was going to make it very tough for the defense to get on as Jermaine Gonzalez, the fifth-year senior from nearby Pontiac, Michigan, makes his first catch of the game, and it is second down.
You know, you're talking about how Iowa was lit up by Arizona State, and Walter out there, the fine quarterback for Arizona State. You can turn on that film and Michigan can look at it all you want. I don't know if Michigan's passing game is to that level, and these cornerbacks for Iowa, Johnson and Allen, have seen a lot of this. They're veterans. They must respond today.
Second and 6, Hart battling toward the first down marker. And I believe he's just a little bit short. That was Abdul Hodge, the linebacker from Fort Lauderdale. Of course, he'll be a strong candidate to make the All Big Ten team again.
I tell you, this Iowa defense, they gave up a lot of yards throwing the ball, and actually Arizona State didn't try much running, but no one has rushed this year on them for even 100 yards. -13 Kent State, 66 Iowa State, Arizona State 76. No one has even gotten 100 yards.
Third and short with 3 wides and no fullback, and Hart just has a big hole and does it himself. That's a very, very interesting formation. If they can get away with that, that sets up a possible passing situation off of that formation. Normally in the past, with a Michigan power running team, you would always see the fullback in third and short, but that time they went to the 3 wide. Well, the Big Ten today with the conference underway. We've got 2 finals. Purdue, but only by 8 over Illinois. Michigan State by 10 over Indiana. Indiana led it in that game, so the Spartans came back in the second half to pull out the victory in their Big Ten opener. Play fake by Henney, who now has a deep drop. Can't find anybody open. And he is down at the 46-yard line. Took a loss on the play. Chad Greenway, another of the outstanding Hawkeye linebackers.
See, now there's where you're wondering, this is the freshman growing pains of a great arm, but not quite there yet as a Navarre or a Greasy or, you know, Elvis Gerback was as he gets experience, because he had Avant wide open on the play, but just a little pressure and he flushed right away. He's going to learn to stay in that pocket, take an extra second and look for those great receivers.
Tim Brackens checks in as the bodyguard for Henney. They're going to try the end around with Bruston. Very elusive, cuts back, but didn't even get back to the original line of scrimmage. Well, a reminder now, we've got a historical matchup coming your way at 9 Eastern on Monday Night Football. The Cowboys and the Redskins, and you know what that means. Mr. Parcells and Mr. Gibbs. 2 old rivals, with Parcells leading 10-6. He won their only postseason match. Of course, Parcells coaching the Giants then. Leads him on Monday night 3-1. What will happen this time? We shall have to wait and see. Third down for the Wolverines here. They trail Iowa 7-0 first quarter Big Ten opener. Hitting on that deep drop again, fires to a wide open Braylon Edwards, and that is a first down for Michigan at the 28-yard line. And Braylon, one of the best in the country, 16 more yards, and you'll watch a nifty grab here.
Absolutely. Great protection for Henny this time. Watch Braylon go up, stem, and get underneath the coverage. That's what you want your receivers do. The ball was slightly behind, but if you could straighten out that defender, that time it was Bellis, and then cut underneath, that's how you get open against man-to-man coverage.
The corners better get ready after the coaches saw what Braylon Edwards just did to Bellis on that play. Here comes the toss play. And number 41, Bracken's juggling, and the Hawkeyes have got it. Fumble recovered by Iowa. Bracken's fumbles, and Michigan turns it over. It has plagued them all season.
Turnovers and interceptions.
Abdul Hodge. Now let's see the replay. Does it clearly? Ball's coming out from that angle. There will be no stoppage of play here. And on the field, they had the man that recovered it.
They are going to go to replay, though. They just announced it to the crowd. They're going to take a look, but with our eyes, it looked like the ball was out before the knee went down.
But you know, this is a good job by the booth up here to stop it, make sure they get a good angle, make sure they see all our replays. They do not have their own cameras. They depend on the television coverage in the stadium. And at least from our viewpoint, this turnover will stand. We don't have the final decision on this. Now here's the angle that the replay has TiVo over there. He's looking at. He sees the ball clearly coming out before the knees are down. Matt Roth caused that fumble.
And this is a key spot. I mean, this just isn't a 3rd and 1 play out in the 50-yard line. I mean, Michigan is going in for a score, so this is good for the officials, the game official upstairs, to take a look and make sure. But we feel, and you look at how many times have been done in the 3 weeks, not a lot. No.
You know what?
Time to buy maybe 1 extra hot dog.
This is why the system was created. It's a big, big turnover. What appears to be Michigan's on the drive. You just want to get it right. We were down in the officials' locker room. We talked about it, and everybody agrees, and they welcome it to come in and help them. They don't want to be wrong in a critical situation either. So again, he is on the telephone conferring upstairs with Verl Sell, who's the technical advisor here today, and he's looking at the replay over and over. Checking what he's really trying to determine is whether or not that knee was down before the ball came free. You've seen the replays at home, so you've seen the same output that that the replay official has looked at.
You know what's neat, Brent, is when we went in and talked to the officials, it's not like they were against it, like the big eye in the sky is going to give them nervousness or anything. They want to get it right no matter what. You know, they're trying to see this in real time.
Following the review, the play stands as called. Fumble. First down, Iowa.
That's all that Lloyd Carr could ask for in that situation, is for someone to take a good close look at it. And from our standpoint, it appeared to be clearly a fumble. And the Hawkeyes recover, and we would call instant replay there a success. So on we go. 1st and 10 for the Hawks. Play fake, and Drew Tate continues to throw on first. Had a tight end open, but he didn't want to throw to the middle of the field. Went to the sideline. Very good quarterbacking on that play.
He's a gamer.
Well, I'll tell you, that was well done.
Really
let's we'll come back and talk about him, but let's check in with John in New York. Get an update, John.
Brent, the Taco Bell update, Bowden Bowl number 6. After a field goal by Florida State, this is Justin Miller. Fields the ball at his 3. And somewhere, the Florida State Seminoles are on the field. You can't believe it by this. 97 yards for the touchdown. Clemson up 7-3.
And here, John, it is first down for Iowa at the 44-yard line after that catch by Solomon. Giving the eye, and again, Tate coming in underneath and using Aaron Mickens, the fullback. Gary, I want to go back to that last pass because I think you used a great word, a gamer. I mean, this was good.
Well, remember, he's the 5th new quarterback Iowa's used in 5 years, but he's only a sophomore. But he's playing like a senior. You don't need to take chances early in the game. Take the easy throw, especially on first down. Kirk Ferentz, we talked to him on the phone, right, Brent? He said he likes the kid. He got overrun last week. I still look for Michigan to start blitzing him. That's what you do to a young quarterback. Blitz him. I don't think Iowa has great speed on the outside.
Second down and 8. Now Lewis can't shake free, and it'll be third down and long. David Harris, the junior from Grand Rapids, Michigan, makes the tackle for the Wolverines. So we're live from Ann Arbor, Michigan. We've had one touchdown, and it was a beauty. Junior wide receiver Eddie Hinkle from Erie, Pennsylvania, going up against Marlon Jackson, one of the best corners in all of college football. And Hinkle with a great diving grab for the touchdown. Tate so far in this game, 6 of 6, 77 yards, and that touchdown. That snap up high, got to get on it. A lost back and a penalty flag. The linesman has thrown a penalty flag. And that was after Tate was on top of the ball.
It could be a sideline warning. That's the only thing I'm thinking of, because it was on the Michigan bench.
Yeah, the line judge came right out, and
we have a sideline warning.
Yeah, good pickup on that, Gary.
Michigan bench. Sideline warning number 1, 4th down.
Iowa has not fumbled this year. Remember, Kirk Ferentz is not the center. We saw that Ohio State game last year when they lost Ferentz. They had big problems with that snap. Watch another thing. Drew Tate really got his knee wrenched on this play. His left leg got caught under him. That might be something to watch as this game goes on.
David Bradley, the Hawkeye punter. Would have been high, but he'll get it off. A low returnable punt to Breaston. Can't shake the gun. Down at the 36-yard line as Walner Bellis, he's an ace on the special teams, comes down and makes that stop. ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by Nissan. Everything we touch, we shift, and everything we shift, we try to make better. The Hartford Mutual Funds, official corporate partner of the NCAA. Singular, the wireless company that fits you best. Capital One, no hassle rewards. What's in your wallet? And AOL for broadband, proud sponsor of First and 10. That's the Diag here in Ann Arbor on the campus, prominent landmark. Let's check in with Jack Arute on the Iowa quarterback. Looks a little shaken up down there, Jack.
Well, Brent, he was, but he came over to the service of the athletic training staff of the Iowa Hawkeyes, and he shook them all off. They checked over on his left side where you see he's readjusting his pants, but then he jumped up to prove that he was okay. He did a couple of high hops and then said, I'm ready to go back in.
And Michael Hart's gone back in, Jack. He's now the tailback. Henney, straight back, steps up and got away from him. It's incomplete. Slipped out, didn't it? And,
well, he tried to stop his throw. You know, he was going to throw, and then he saw a linebacker late. This is growing pains, guys. I mean, you know, all those John Navarre critics for 3 years that, well, you know, he's not the greatest talent of the world, and Chad Henney's the poster boy for talent around the country. He comes to Michigan, he does. He's got it all. There probably will be no player in the Big Ten that improves more than Chad Henney as this year goes on. But right now, he's still learning, and this is a good Hawkeye defense.
Second down and 10. And he'll call timeout. This time he had a late shift, looked up at that clock. There was only 1 second to go as was running down, so he uses a timeout. Aerial coverage for the game, courtesy of the Outback Steakhouse Airship Bloomin' Onion 1. Need an extra wide lens as you look down here on the big house with 107,501, and we thank Outback for those fine views. Second down and 10. Henney pulled down smartly at midfield by number 8, Jason Avant.
Well, you can see the workhorses. I mean, they've got game breakers. They've got things they can do. I think both teams are looking, though, Brent, priorities in this game is try to get some big plays in the run game. The longest run of the year for Michigan, 13 yards. Pressure each quarterback, and they can't have the special teams disasters that blow a game like this.
I believe that's the longest that Iowa's had this year, too.
13 yards. 13. Wow, that's bad.
Midfield, Edwards, the motion receiver. They come back with young Hart and picked up a yard, not much more, as Abdul Hodge steps in and Chad Henne's an impressive freshman when we talked to him yesterday, Jack.
Well, Brent, indeed he is, but for Terry Malone, the offensive coordinator, he can be a handful. And what I mean is the fact that he's just a freshman. And Malone admits that during series, when the series is done, when he gets on the phone from the press box to talk to his quarterback, he tries to settle him down and make sure that he can establish a rhythm. That's the most important thing, according to Malone, for Henne early in this game. Get a rhythm.
As a high school youngster, an outstanding javelin thrower and a shot putter. Very unusual combination for a quarterback as he throws a screen to Hart. Hart jitterbugs, battles, first down, good looking run. Get Hart outside, give him some space, and he picks up the first down on a 12-yard gain.
Well, in about the last 6-8 years, I don't know if there's been a better screen team in the country than Michigan. You know, we saw it with Chris Perry. Now you're seeing it with Hart, and it makes so much sense. You take those great wide receivers to the outside and then dump it off to that running back. The linebackers have to move back. Let's see on first down now if Michigan doesn't try to go deep on them once here pretty soon. Haven't tried yet to throw the deep ball.
Carl Tabb is split far out to the right. We stick with Hart to the 30-yard line, and that's 6 yards on that game. Well, a reminder, tonight on ESPN, you're going to see the Pete Rose Story Hustle at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. There'll be limited commercial interruption, so I think the fellas have also got a football game over on ESPN2. I think it's Minnesota Northwestern, so flick back and forth, and the travails of a guy I knew personally and still like and still believe that he belongs in the Hall of Fame regardless of the sins he committed betting on the game. Second down. Handoff now to Hart. Hart stretches wide, and he's down at the 27-yard line. Abdul Hajj up with another stop.
The reason Iowa is good in protecting the run is, yes, Hodge and Greenway make a lot of tackles for them. First and third in the Big Ten last year, and they run sideline to sideline. But as those guys up front, they're the ones that string those plays out. Last time Matt Roth made a wonderful play, stringing it out, and allowing the guys to make a tackle.
This is the Nissan Drive summary. Michigan's had it for 6 plays. We've got 1:04 left and a timeout called by the Hawkeyes. As Michigan trying to mount a scoring threat here and tie it. Timeout.
Our students move on, but the spirit stays with them.
Stout defensive front, and I think the point you always want to make, Gary, about the Iowa Hawkeyes is the way Kirk Ferentz, when he took over, struggled for a couple of years and really has made this team a power in the Big Ten. Over the last 4 or 5 years, yes, Ohio State and Michigan have been there, but nipping at their heels, Iowa and Purdue.
Well, and I think he did it his own way. You know, he went and recruited guys, and his first priority was, we're going to learn to run the ball and be tough, and we're going to learn to stop the run. And actually, that's the best way to do it. You know, it's hard to be a passing team and a rush defensive team in college football. They face it every day in spring ball, every day in the fall, and they get good at stopping each other. And you can see the techniques down there. Babineau, Lutke, Robinson, Roth, they clear it out for those linebackers. Michigan's offensive line has had a tough time getting on Hodge. Let's see if they can do it. Maybe they'll use Dudley, 32, to get there. There's Dudley right there.
Also got Braylon Edwards one-on-one far outside left.
It is a blitz look for Iowa here.
And they run for the first down. Hart to the 21-yard line. A freshman with a tremendous future. Yeah, he may be only 5'6", 5'7", whatever, but you watch him in practice as we did yesterday. Look how sturdily he's built.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, as Gary pointed out, and he made such a good observation, height is never a factor when you're measuring running back.
Now look at Bass right here. Does a great job. The All-American move to center for this game. He just swallows it up. You run right there. It might be the most overrated thing, height of a running back, right?
Yeah, and you know, Hennigy That left guard was doing a good job on his man that time, too. And this time,
there's my man.
It made a difference how big he was. And Matt Roth, the senior from Villa Park, Illinois, rolls in.
He's an All-American. Well, no, he's not. He could be after this game. All Big Ten returning player. He's kind of a half and half. Outside linebacker, defensive end. He's a terror coming off the corner against the pass rush, and he's stout against the run. He is one heck of a football player.
Rembert, now the running back, now second down, and now you would think Braylon Edwards working from the slot might be a target for number 7. Getting the clocks set. The 25-second clock has not started yet. Now they wind it.
Safety is on Braylon Edwards here, so that should tell Chad Henne zone. They're not going to put.
Will they get the play off? I don't think they did.
Wow, little mistake. Oh, end of the quarter.
Yeah.
End of the quarter.
They come to the end of the quarter, and so they will turn around. Looking at a second and long. Iowa 7, Michigan nothing after 1. The Hawkeyes came ready tonight. You better believe it. They lead it by 7 right now. Michigan on the drive as we start the second quarter inside the 30-yard line. And Henne got a wide open Edwards, but threw behind him. And that leads us to a very warm story because Norm Parker, Gary Danielson was upstairs talking to him. He's rejoined the team.
Right. The Iowa defense is back, and maybe it's because Norm Parker is back. This is his first game back. He's up in the press box. He's suffered through a lot this offseason. He's been in the hospital 20 out of the last 24 days. He told me he watched the Arizona State game at home and fell out of his wheelchair while he was watching it. He said, you know, it's been tough. He also said he had tears in his eyes because his son Jeff, who's so much a part of the Iowa program, is buried just 10 minutes from here.
So Norm is upsetting the defense for the Hawkeyes. Third down for Chad Henne. Takes a deep drop and in trouble. Shakes free. Made it to the 30-yard line where it will be 4th down. Big pressure from number 31, Matt Roth. And Michigan is having a terrible time attempting to block Roth.
Matt Roth's the real deal. I mean, he's been in the Big Ten for 3 years, and he doesn't care about 107,000 people or 330 pounds in front of him or that Chad Henne's the #1 recruit in the country. He knows how to play football.
So Garrett Rivas will come on and attempt a field goal, and it's no gimme, is it? And the Matt Gutierrez is the holder. This is a 46-yarder. So Gutierrez now a backup quarterback. Looks good from here. Rivas puts the Wolverines on the board, but the Hawkeyes still lead it. Well, you look down on the big house here in Ann Arbor. The Wolverines and the Hawkeyes, you can see really how intimate it is. Over 100,000 folks. You can see just how close I should say. The seats are to the field. Field turf in for the second year. Much better footing than the natural grass that they attempted to grow down here. Can't understand why. The large clumps used to come up. Troy Nienberg, ball on the tee. Hinkle is one of the deep men for the Hawkeyes. He scored the touchdown. Bellis the other one. And they are directing it away from Hinkle. So Bellis will come up. Around about the 21-yard line.
Well, as effective as Drew Tate has been, they still need to get a running game, I think, to make him really be effective throughout this whole game, Brent.
Well, from Baytown, Texas. And remember, just a little gimpy after that pileup following the bad snap down there is the Hawkeyes. Elgin stays in as the center. So the offensive line stays intact for the Hawks. And Tate on first down In trouble. Sacked at the 5-yard line. Pouring in David Harris and Lamar Woodley for the Wolverines.
Well, you can almost hear the bench from Iowa say, throw it away, Drew. Throw it away. The offensive line for Iowa does a nice job here. Plenty of time to throw the ball. No one open. Okay, now get rid of it. Throw it away. You're outside of the tackle box. Get me back to 2nd and 10. Now 2nd and 25. The chances of making a first down are practically zero for Iowa.
2nd down and 25. Might have been movement. The center didn't snap the ball. So some exchange problems here as the left side of the offensive line appeared to be pulling back on it.
Prior to the snap, ball start offense. Number 70, 76.
That is
Still
Mike Jones, the left guard, who was pulling back.
Yeah, it looked like Mike Jones and Lee Gray, both of them 70 and 76. They must have asked each other, Brent, what was the snap count? And they both said 1 to each other, and it was really 2. Don't ask if you don't know.
Second and a bunch. Michigan with 4 down linemen. And they don't let Lewis out. Short of the 10-yard line, and now it will be 3rd and long.
And now you'll see the dime package for Michigan come in here. You'll probably see Iowa either run a draw play or be safe. But remember, you start to play right into the strength of Michigan. Their secondary creates turnovers, and Steve Breston is their punt returner.
Grant Mason, an additional defensive back, checking to make sure he's in this formation.
Yeah, they're going to use their dime package with only 3 down linemen in this formation.
And they send the backers after the run off of it, and Iowa will be forced to punt. Well, it's time for this week's Aflac Trivia question. Who was the last true freshman to start a season opener for Michigan at quarterback?
Key word here, let me help you. Start. Start a season opener.
They have the opener. They've had true freshmen start games.
That's right. We don't make it easy.
David Bradley standing in his own end zone.
Preston's going to catch this one full speed if he does catch it. Great punt.
Inside the 35-yard line. And he is smacked at the 46-yard line by Abdul Hodge, the starting middle linebacker on the punt team. And there is a penalty marker.
Oh, no.
It is against Iowa.
I think you might classify this one as a possible special team disaster if you have to punt again to Steve Breston.
After that great punt, because now Breston might catch one in front of him and give him field
Illegal
position.
formation. Only 6 men on the line of scrimmage. Number 50 off the line. Half the distance to the goal. Repeat, 4th down.
That means one of the inside guys was cheating too far back. Now remember, Iowa's had 2 punts here. One time they held, and this time they lined up wrong. Abdul Hodge finishing off this play like a all Big Ten linebacker should.
That was George Lewis, and he should know better. He's a senior linebacker who was on the punt team.
He was just trying to cheat back to get a better angle, and the official called him. You have to cover at least half of the man next to you with your helmet. See him right here. There he is, end guy. Whoops, a little late.
Now Breston lives to fight again, and he's standing across midfield for the Wolverines. Michigan sets a return. A very costly penalty. A short field for Chad Henne and the Wolverines. The freshman with a chance to put the Wolverines ahead if he can finish this drive off. Timeout. ABC Sports presentation of college football brought to you by the new Chevrolets. 10 new cars and trucks in 20 months. An American Revolution. The New York Stock Exchange. The world puts its stock in us. Miller. There's good enough and there's better than it has to be. Miller, good call. Allstate, a proud sponsor of the Bowl Championship Series. And AOL for broadband, proud sponsor of First and 10. As you see the law quad here, University of Michigan in Ann Arbor. So it'll be a 1st and 10 for Chad Henne. And the Wolverines who come up now, and they are having big problems with the left defensive end. So for that right tackle, Jake Long, he's got to strap it on over there because what a battle he's about to have. They'll run at him this time, but he got help for the linebacker, and Hart is down. Let's check in with Jack Arute.
So, Brent, how did Matt Roth get the number 31 playing defensive end? Well, you got to go back to Villa Park, Illinois, where he was an outstanding player on the Willowbrook High School wrestling team. He wrestled in the heavyweight division, was undefeated, won the state title. The number of victories for Matt Roth, 31-0. Ergo, 31 is his number for the Iowa Hawkeyes.
And the way they stuffed that point over there, it allowed Hodge to come in and clean it up. Now it is 2nd down and long. Roth really got off the jump that time. Henne stands in, deflected, incomplete. They've got a major problem on their hands with number 31 over there.
Yeah, but that one should have been completed. That's about the 3rd pass Henne has thrown behind his receiver.
Penalty flag is down, and it is against Michigan. I mean, 31 is causing chaos.
Chad Henne has to settle down, just depend on that line, whether you get sacked or not. There's nothing you can do about it as a quarterback. It's step into your throw and get it in front of him.
Illegal chop block, number 20. That 15-yard penalty repeats 2nd down.
So they tried to get some help on Roth over there with the young back, and he came too low. Number 20 is going to come to the outside. See him right there, chop. Yeah, he got the end of it right there. You can see it on the right side of your screen. It wasn't on Roth. It was on a stunting
There it is right
Luke
there.
Key.
There's the block right there.
Key, right there.
There's the penalty.
We got it.
2nd down. Rimbert, the running back. Complete to the 45-yard line. Avant, and let's check in now with John Saunders in New York. John.
Brent, the Verizon Wireless update, Utah and Air Force. And this is Alex Smith, the quarterback, runs it in for the touchdown. It was 14-0 in this game in favor of Air Force, 21 straight by Utah, and they have the lead, Brent.
All right, John, thank you. Some folks thought that one might be close for the Utes. Possible BCS buster out there in Salt Lake City. 3rd down and long. They double team Roth that time. Henne completes it to Preston. Preston is down at the 30-yard line. Earlier, you know, we asked you the Aflac trivia question. Who was the last true freshman to start a season opener for Michigan at quarterback? I know many of you Wolverine fans knew this. Why, it was Rick Leach. September 13th, 1975, and look who's down at the field. Joining us down there will be Rick Leach, and good to see Rick, and we'll be back to talk to you and Jack shortly.
You know, interesting, 19 years later, is it, or 29 years later, still can hear Bo Schembechler yelling at him.
Yeah, I bet he can. Finley to punt it for Michigan. A beautiful punt. Right at the 5-yard line. Down by Bradley. But I believe we have another one of those pesky flags, eh? Thrown on the
illegal
far
formation.
Side.
Only 6 on the line. 5-yard penalty. Repeat 4th down.
Now we get this measured up and repunt again. Let's check in with Jack and Rick.
Well, Brent, Rick actually started to break up when Gary Danielson said the fact that you could just still hear Bo Schembechler yelling at you. Was it always about going aerial, passing the ball when you should run it?
Well, that was far and few between back then. Everything was based off the option on the ground and then throw off that.
freshman quarterback, you've been through this, starting your season as a freshman. What advice can you give to a guy like Chad Henne who's fell into this position now like you?
Well, just patience more than anything. His learning curve, a lot of it's going to happen on the field, and that's the way it's going to be for the year.
Jack, keep Rick there. I know that producer Bob Goodrich, I think, has got a commercial coming up here, but we'll come back and hear some more from him. It's always good to see him. This will go for the end zone and in. So we will take a break, and then we'll come back and we'll hear more from Jack and Rick Leach. Well, it's time for the Pacific Life game summary here. We're coming to you live from Ann Arbor, Michigan. We've had only one touchdown in the game. It was Tate to Hinkle. Beautiful catch for the Hawkeyes. Meanwhile, the Wolverines were settling for a Rivas field goal. And now it is 1st and 10. Rick Leach is still down below with Jack Arute. We'll go back to them. Here's the fullback battling away for 3 yards. So, Jack, take it away.
Rick, what is the pressure on a quarterback as a freshman? What do you think, because you've done it, what do you go through when you pull out into the huddle here under a magnifying glass?
Well, there's a tremendous amount of pressure, but I think Lloyd would tell him very similar to what Bo did to me. Just take care of yourself and do your job. You don't have to win the game. You've got great talent around you, and rely on everybody to do their job.
Yeah, but as a freshman, did you believe Bo?
No, I always wanted to win it by myself.
Brent?
You got to have that attitude. You can't play quarterback, right? You're passive. You ain't going to play.
2nd and 7. Tate under a blitz from Jackson, dropped it right off in that spot to the running back. And Lewis, 1st down, Iowa. Perfect read that time. They saw Jackson coming.
Well, they had a little screen pass on. They had the perfect call on for that blitz. It was a zone blitz. One of the toughest plays for a zone blitz to stop is a screen. Watch the ball carrier come right here. Jackson's going to go right by him to the outside. But these guys are going to drop. Look, see, they're playing zone. Now there's nothing you can do. You get the big lineman out in front of it, and that defense is exposed with a perfect call in that situation.
Here's Tate. In underneath to the fullback for another 1st down. Aaron Mickens, the senior from Texas, like Tate.
Look at Tate. He's talking to his offensive line. See that, guys? Give me time, give me time. Watch the tight end. He wanted to go to the tight end, but he's covered. Now Tate drops back, gets the good protection here. Tight end's covered right there in the middle. So he says, you know what? Nothing there, nothing there. I'll just drop it to the guy underneath. That's the way you play quarterback. I wish I'd played it that way.
Tate is 8 of 8, Gary, for 102 yards in this game. Nearing midfield. Now he's 9 of 9. This is Hinkle fumble. And the Wolverines pounce on it on the 41-yard line.
That was the first fumble of the year for the Iowa Hawkeyes. They've had 3 turnovers, all interceptions.
Recovered by Shazer, the safety.
Wide receiver screen, 9 in a row. You got a hot quarterback. All you now try to do is move the chains, get a good hit right there. Lawrence Reed put his helmet right on the football, and it pops loose. Look at Lawrence Reed. That's the way you tackle. Drive your head across the body of the ball carrier. You get the ball.
Play was quickly reviewed. As you saw that replay, no need for a stoppage. And it's 1st and 10. Chad Henne going deep. Braylon Edwards, touchdown Michigan. Took a bump from the corner, made the catch, and went on in for the 58-yard touchdown. Javon Johnson, the junior corner, was battling Braylon, and just tremendous concentration by the man who is wearing the famed number 1. Anthony Carter would have been proud of this play, ladies and gentlemen. It's a beauty.
Quarterback up here has been calling for the deep pass for Braylon Edwards for 3 series. Watch how he plucks it from Johnson. Perfect job. That ball, Johnson thought he had an interception, and Johnson plucks it for the touchdown.
Rivas. And Michigan leads for the first time today. Chad Henne going airborne. And an All-American receiver does the rest. Takes it away from the corner and goes end zone. Man, what a beauty. Welcome back to the ADT Spotlight game, and we're going to rock this catch back and forth. Folks, it is beautiful. Braylon Edwards and a corner both going for it. Now look at him come up, incidental contact, and just takes it right away from him. You cannot ask for a better grab than that right there. Just like Gary told you, the corner thought he had the ball intercepted.
Yeah, and Braylon's done this repeatedly in his career. He loves the deep ball, and he catches the ball high. If you're a young receiver, if you catch the ball high, you've got a chance to make those plays.
Kickoff is fielded at the 4-yard line by Bellis. Bellis to the 23-yard line, and Jack, why did Braylon Edwards decide to come back this year? He could have been a high draft choice last year.
Well, he visited with his dad, Stan, before the start of last season, and his dad said, what are the parameters for you to leave early? And he said, Dad, if I'm going to be one of the top 10 picks in the NFL. At the end of the season, his dad, Stan, said, well, it looks like you very well could be. And he said, yeah, Dad, but I'm not the best wide receiver in college football, and I'm coming back.
Yeah, and right now, he figures to be possibly the best. I know there's some other good youngsters. Last year was the year of the wide receiver. Roy Manning makes the stop. And how are our two QBs doing, Gary?
Well, I think Drew Tate's been a little more accurate than Chad Henne, but remember when we talked in the opening, Chad Henne has the big play. He's got those receivers. You know, I call it the Abe Lincoln offense here. Avon, Preston, and Edwards. I mean, you just give it to those guys. That's the truth out there. They're going to lead you, and that's what you have. When you know, it's not hard. There's not a lot of reading to throw the ball deep as a young quarterback. You just let her fly and let those guys make a play, and that's the advantage that Chad Henne has.
Second down. Hit on the release, but the ball is caught here on the near side. And at the conclusion of the game, we'll select a Chevrolet player of the game from each team, and Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund.
See, there it is. There's Iowa again. They have no big plays really running the ball. You know, you can see what Fred Russell did to this offense a year ago, the game-breaking ability at the running back. They don't have that speed in the backfield. And then at receiver, they complete a lot of passes, 10 for 10. But no big plays from the receiver. So that's a problem against this scattering, gambling defense of Michigan.
Third down and 10. Oh, what an interception. Picked off at the 40-yard line by Hall, who is a story because he replaced Marcus Curry. Coaches were upset that Curry had given up too many big plays. Ladies and gentlemen, Hall's going to be on that corner for a while.
It's a squaring route to the outside, and Leon Hall, the true sophomore who did such a great job last year, as Marlon Johnson kind of forced Tate to throw the ball just a bit early. He had to pick a spot. He let him too much, and look at Leon Hall. Man, that guy, you catch the ball like that, you might be playing offense and defense like a Charles Woodson played here. There is talent and loads of talent in the Michigan secondary.
The first incomplete pass by Tate is an interception, and as a result, Michigan with a short field here. 6:52 in the first half, and underneath, Braylon Edwards going for the end zone, reaches for it, and is down at the 1-yard line. They're going to mark him down at the 1-yard line. Ball was coming free as he was reaching for it. 39-yard effort by number 1.
Everybody, the crowd is wanting a replay. You can hear it. Take a look on this one. Braylon Edwards comes underneath. Now look at him on the run. He went deep. Look at that guy. Sets it up, reaches. Knee comes down a little bit short as he reaches out, but I love those guys that reach for the end zone as it just went loose and he was down. What a play. Game breaker he is.
Michael Hart, the freshman behind Henne, and Henne with the quarterback sneak for the touchdown. Let us go back to one play that would be easy to forget. The penalty that called back the outstanding punt by Iowa. Turned field position around completely. Michigan went airborne for the touchdown to Braylon Edwards. Now they back Iowa up in a battle of field position. They get it back on a slick interception and strike again. Rivas. Hooked it left. No good. It has been a year of missed extra points across the landscape of college football. That one hooked left as Braylon Edwards, with that last catch and run, has jumped ahead of Amani Toomer, and he's chasing a man who made #1 a legend here in Ann Arbor, Anthony Carter.
You know, one of the things that Lloyd Carr has done with Braylon Edwards is given him a little tough love through his career. As you take a look at the quarterback sneak behind Boss, the All-American candidate, big center move there this week. But you know, Braylon Edwards has been a guy, this one's hooked. Right off the upright, the extra point. Lloyd Carr's done a good job with Braylon Edwards. His father, Stanley Edwards, has done a good job with Braylon. Tremendous talent, but Lloyd gave him a lot of tough love early in his career because he knew he could be special. And him staying his senior year has been a big payoff to Lloyd Carr in this program.
And Lloyd's asking the question that everybody is asking. What happened? Bellis kicking away from Hinkle. From the 6. Smacked at the 21-yard line. Well, let's see. Monday night, the boys got something new at halftime, huh? NFL players go to outrageous lengths to pull hidden camera tricks on one another. The season premiere, you've been sacked. And this week, the joke is on the rant. Oh, Torrey, I can't believe what I just saw. Torrey Holt, you should be ashamed of yourself, young man. What would your mama think of that? Come on. That could be fun. We'll have to tune in and watch that. Hidden camera on Monday night. Al Lewis.
Hand off to Jamel Lewis.
Well, takeaways, the key stat regarding this Michigan defense. Ranking first in the nation, and of course they've had a couple of here today. Remember, they've tacked on 2 more.
Yep.
Both TDs came after the Iowa turnover,
and both have been forced. I mean, when you grab one like that and you force a fumble, those aren't just gifts. They were forced takeaways by these outstanding guys.
Tate steps away. Out of bounds, and there come penalty flags flying all over the place. And a couple of the offensive linemen going over there to see if the quarterback is all right.
Yeah,
that was Woodley, was it, on this?
I think he was.
On this side. Let's see here. Certainly no question about this call.
Tate spun one more time, and either Shazor or Woodley came across, gets to the outside, and then he starts this toe dance down the sideline. Out of bounds, clearly. Oh, and you see he tries to lay off, but Lamar Woodley, number 56, you can see it. His momentum carried him right into Tate. It really wasn't intentional. He just couldn't slow down.
Exactly, Gary. Nothing much he could do.
Yeah.
You could just tell with his body language that he was trying to pull back away, but he had him.
And you know what? You got to make the call.
Absolutely.
But it's part of the game. It's a risk-reward of being a pursuing football player.
I was watching somebody describe, well, he was just a little bit out of bounds.
Yeah, well,
doesn't make any difference, man.
That's why they put the white line there.
Exactly. First down and 10. And Tate goes deep. Diving dropped at the 20-yard line. And beautiful effort by Calvin Davis, the sophomore from Iowa City. And we check in down below with Jack.
Well, Brent, Jim Herman, the defensive coordinator for Michigan, spent last season high atop the sidelines on the coach's box at the 50-yard line. Didn't like it. He said it was kind of cerebral, helped him a little bit as far as seeing what his defense was doing. But he said what I missed the most was being able to look into my squad's eyes when they came off after a good series. Now he's back down on the sidelines doing exactly just that.
2nd and 10. Tate's in trouble. Down at the 30-yard line. And he was hit by Pat Massey, number 94, in on him, the senior from Brecksville, Ohio.
And Gabe Watson also put some pressure on him there, too. I think that the Iowa coaches have to get to Drew Tate and say, Drew, you just can't keep doing that. We're just not built a way for you to take these long sacks and bad plays and still, against this Michigan defense, have any chance of moving it. You have to throw the ball away. I know you're used to it. You're a playmaker in high school. You win the job. But against this speed on this defense, you just can't do that.
The Michigan defense tightening the screws since that opening series. Nothing happening here. This is a tackle for a loss by Pierre Woods. Mickens, the ball carrier, and of course coming up with the Valvoline halftime show. John, Craig, and Aaron will have highlights and analysis from today's big games. They'll fill you in on the Clemson, Florida State game. 4th down and another punt, and a lot of time here for Michigan. Gave up the game's first touchdown, 16 unanswered points for the Wolverines.
Yeah, both off turnovers too. Fumble and the interception.
Fair catch at the 30-yard line. 70 yards away for the Wolverines. And a reminder that next Saturday you'll see one of these regional games. Michigan again going down the road to play an improved Indiana team. And the great views today from Ann Arbor being provided by the Outback Steakhouse Airship. The Bloomin' Onion 1 high above the outhouse, and we thank them for those great views.
You know what effectively Michigan has done here now? Terry Malone and the Michigan offense, they've taken Matt Roth and Hodge and Greenway and all those tough Iowa kids up front right out of the game. They've thrown it over their heads. They've gone long on them, and that established defensive run game right here has been no factor the last 2 drives.
Kinney is 9 of 13 in the first half. This time they run straight ahead, 178 yards. The touchdown on the great catch by Braylon Edwards. And Hart, their leading rusher, now carried 10 times for 23 yards after that. Total yards from Michigan, an impressive 205 here in the first half. Second down and long. Kinney, here's Edwards again. Crosses midfield. So another Michigan first down in the hands of Braylon Edwards, who's having a big game. 4 catches, 131 yards.
Linebacker for Iowa. 4 receivers for Michigan. This is a mismatch. You're going to see Braylon Edwards on the middle linebacker. Watch this. A little stutter and Bast Abdul Hodge. Now, Abdul Hodge is a good football player, but he can't cover Braylon Edwards. That's a mismatch. Iowa does not like to go nickel and dime defense. They like to keep their linebackers on the field.
Off the fake, and Hart picking up a couple yards behind the right side. One of the things they're doing to offset Roth, and you do this, I guess, against great rushmen, is they've been running right at him. And I remember that the fellows used to do that against Alan Page. Minnesota Vikings stop that first step rush on you, just power right at it.
Yeah, also though, Brett, Michigan likes to run the ball right. Their 3 strongest linemen are to the right side. They run the ball right, even if Alan Page was lined up over there. I think Michigan is predominantly a right-handed running team.
Roth tries to slip in off his feet. Kinney with another completion for a first down. Gets it outside to Tyler Ecker, the junior tight end from California.
Michigan is not trying to be hard-headed. They've only run the ball for 30 yards in this game. Lloyd Carr said we can't win the Big Ten championship if we can't run the ball. But against Iowa, and this type of rush defense where no one this year has rushed for 100, he's not batting his head up against a wall here. He's willing to throw the ball because that's the easiest way to move it against Iowa.
Here's Hart. We had a chance yesterday morning to ask Chad Henne about his strengths. How would he analyze himself?
Chris Dudley,
I
big
think
hit.
I'm pretty athletic, and I have a good arm. And I'm just pretty much decisive. When I go after a throw, I get after it. I'm pretty aggressive. So if a wide receiver's open, I try to get him the ball as quick as possible.
So Chad Henne, a work in progress, a freshman, but just a great prospect. He came down to Penn State, Michigan, and Miami. The final 3 schools that were in the chase from the young man who was a schoolboy whiz over at Eastern Pennsylvania.
Nice job by Matt Gutierrez right here. Okay, Matt came into this year, he was named the starting quarterback. You can see him working with Chad Henne. Came down with an arm problem. Lloyd told us to stand by. He might be making some announcement this week. Maybe a little more information on what his future is. But I think it shows a lot for that kid to stay involved in the game and help a guy like Chad Henne out. A lot of kids have a lot of dreams of being a starting quarterback of Michigan and having to go down that quick. That shows a lot from Gutierrez to get in there.
Jack?
Well, Brent, you know, as a freshman, generally you say, well, how does he assimilate everything so quickly? Well, Chad Henne and his high school coach drove 8.5 hours from Pennsylvania during spring break last year. Came up here and studied the offense, stood behind the offense during spring practice. They had to throw him out of the film room every night at midnight. He tried to get as much as he could in the 7 days that he was on spring break while his buddies were partying.
Yeah, that shows some early dedication. I'm sure it made an impact on Lloyd and the staff when they made their decision as who would replace Gutierrez. Steps up in the pocket, deflected. Gary, you said an awful lot of Michigan passes are deflected at the line of scrimmage. Why?
Yeah, and it's not because of the size of the quarterback or the throwing motion. It's because Michigan runs a lot of shallow crossing routes. That's exactly where the ball was going that time. Braylon Edwards was coming underneath the coverage, and you know who he was matched up that time with? Matt Roth. Okay, so that's that zone blitz package that teams are using, and when you try to run underneath and get that ball to Braylon Edwards, those defensive linemen do a good job of reading that and knocking them down.
3rd down and 7 for Henne and the Wolverines. Preston slots on the right. Edwards goes to the left. Dropped by Hart. Turned, hadn't cradled the football, and dropped it. So with the Jackaroot, Gary Danielson, I'm Brent Musberger. Welcome to the Big Ten opener for Michigan and Iowa as Braylon Edwards scores touchdown and almost got another one. But Chad Henne took it across, and the Wolverines lead it right now 16-7, 1:20 left in Finley into punt.
That was a huge stop for the Iowa defense. They stay in the football game. One more score, it could get ugly.
Finley hangs it towards that end zone. And I think he's not signaled down there by the official.
Yeah, see,
did he save it?
I think he did. It's a touchback.
It had gone in. We just didn't get a clear signal, and that's why the crowd is booing. They just didn't give us the quick signal on the play. With Darnell Hood was the corner in there down in the end zone.
Remember, the ball in college football does not have to hit the end line like in the pro game. It just has to cross the plane. You can see it gets touched. Now you wonder if it crossed the plane. It's said that it is. It's batted back in. One more look at it here. It's called that it crossed the plane. Clearly it was, and it's thrown back.
So the ball is spotted on the 20-yard line for the Hawkeyes. And Lewis goes nowhere against that front. Gabe Watson, the Wolverine defense, has held Iowa. Remember, sacks count in the rushing yards category, so it's minus 30 rushing here in the first half for the Hawkeyes.
They've had the snap over the quarterback's head for one misplay, and then the 2 sacks by Drew Tate. Michigan only has 1 timeout left, and Iowa will be in no hurry to try to drive 80 yards and force maybe another bad play. I think both teams be willing to go into halftime 16-7 right now.
Like you said, Gary, very conservative. Running it out now with Jermel Lewis, the senior running back from Bloomfield, Connecticut. Woodley makes another stop. Good-looking Michigan defense. Figures to keep them in every game that they're in the rest of the Big Ten campaign. Michigan will call a timeout here with 22 seconds to go on this 3rd down. They would love to get Preston another return if they can. There's today's numbers, and you can see the difference here for Michigan.
Well, neither team is really turning it on, but 33 yards to minus 33 yards, the 2 teams today. But both of them are very good in defensing the rush, and neither one is giving in. You can see the difference. Look at 175, 172 a year ago, in the low 100s now, and going down. So they're not, you know you got Iowa is last, Michigan second to last in rushing.
Amazing.
Who do you think's ninth in rushing in the Big Ten?
I don't want
Give you a guess.
I don't want to know that it's Ohio State.
It's Ohio State.
Okay. The way you set it up, I said the only logical thing to do.
So you got to read all the
Buckeye.
notes.
You look at this 9, 10, and 11, tell you that. Oh, yes.
Michigan used their final timeout. Maybe they'll fumble the snap. Maybe we've seen stranger things, but this would be strange.
You and I have seen some strange things. I know who's not last is Minnesota.
No, Minnesota, and I think it's Purdue is up at the top 2 in the league and running the ball.
Sometimes runs it pretty well out of that offense of his. Yeah, Glenn Mason making a stand, and there's the take a knee formation. So they'll let it run on out. And Michigan leads at 16-7. Let's check in with Jack and the Iowa coach.
Coach, turnovers killing you.
Yeah, we knew coming in we couldn't afford to make mistakes to have a chance, and we've made our share. Certainly, they've capitalized after the turnovers, so we have to clean that up.
Big changes at halftime for
We just have to play smarter and play better.
Good luck, Coach.
All right, so a team that's a work in progress, no question about it, and they trail Michigan here 16-7 in their Big Ten opener.
Braylon Edwards, someone on this set loves this guy. 16-7, he takes it in for the touchdown. The Valvoline halftime show. John Saunders, Greg James, and Aaron Taylor right now. And if you look in the Big Ten, a lot of people start talking about Michigan, Ohio State, but you want to look for some experience at your quarterback position, and that is why Purdue, a lot of people like them.
Yeah, you don't have to be a college graduate to see that Kyle Orton has game experience. Look at the touchdown passes compared to the rest of the guys. I think this is going to give Purdue, at least at this point in the season, a definite advantage down the stretch.
Yeah, advantage. They can outshoot whoever they want to. Yes, all that stuff. But, you know, when you talk about all of these teams, they must find a running game to support these young, inexperienced quarterbacks. Whoever can come up with that, like Minnesota, who can run the ball extremely well, those programs are going to have the chance down to the end of the season to help the quarterbacks
Michigan
out.
has struggled on the ground throughout this entire season. Can you spell graduate?
Graduate.
All right,
it's a Notre Dame for you.
Against Florida State in the ACC, it is Bowden Bowl number 6. Papa against son. Justin Miller against everyone. Takes this kickoff and goes 97 yards for a touchdown.
Clemson needed this kind of start in this football game to get over what happened last week with Texas A&M. They had to get the emotions going high. Special teams started it up.
But then Charlie Whitehurst, the quarterback for Clemson, is picked off by Leroy Smith. And he'll return it 41 yards for the touchdown, just steps in front there. Florida State grabs a 17-7 lead. Clemson has come back, though. And in this one, it's another tight one. Remember, Dad Bobby won the first 4 of these, and son Tommy won the next one.
Yeah, well, Clemson wants to have a chance to win this ball game. They're going to have to protect the better. Whitehurst is the last couple weeks has had a tendency to give the ball up. He can't do that against a good Florida State defense.
Right. James Madison against West Virginia. West Virginia is a Big East school that could win it all and get that conference berth in the BCS.
Slow start for K.J. Harris, West Virginia running back, ran for about 1,000 yards in 1 week. Today he's 10 carries, 29 yards. He's got to get it going.
Is this West Virginia team, we've talked about it before, well, it's a broader question. Is the Big East, do you feel they're still deserving of getting an automatic berth in the BCS?
No, you've been telling me they shouldn't.
I don't think so.
I agree with you. I think they're just about like the MAC and the Conference USA and all the other ones. I don't think they should.
I think it really, really hurt them when Miami and Virginia Tech left them. West Virginia for sure is the heavy hitter there, but it's going to take more than one team to constitute being BCS deserving.
West Virginia has just added another score, up 13, pending the point after. We'll let you know if they get it. Auburn against the Citadel. Auburn takes some time off from the SEC. Punt, it's blocked here. Blake Schrader. And it goes out of the end zone for a safety. Auburn is up 9-0 at that point. And then just give the ball to Cadillac and get out of the way.
Yes, sir. Cadillac Williams, your sound effects. There you go. And the Cadillac at it again, already right at it, 100 yards in the first half.
Jason Campbell also has a touchdown run in the game, 33-3. Auburn getting ready for the SEC. Kentucky and Florida. Speaking of the SEC, Florida players are jacked up, ready to go. Chris Leak, though, Gets picked off by Chad Anderson, and this will set up a Kentucky field goal. Kentucky gets on the board first with a 3-0 lead. But then Seatric Faison, 46-yard on this run.
This Florida offense got me a little bit confused early on, just like I am trying to talk right now. But they did just that. They came out a little sluggish, a little offbeat, but getting it done on the ground today.
And then Chris Leak again goes 8 yards to Seatric Faison again. He's got his game phase on. 20-3 is the final. Florida with the victory.
Terrible tackling by Kentucky. I mean, they really played a lot better. Florida's offense rocked them today. I had a big 600-something yards, so it just turned the ball over, had some problems.
All right, Ron Zook continues to have some success. Syracuse and Virginia 21-10. What's happened to the Syracuse program?
You know what? This was one of those seasons where Paul Pasqualoni had the pressure on him to come out and to perform, and he's not getting it done. Virginia is a very good football team, and I said to Virginia walloped them today that this would be the coming out party, that they're for real. Syracuse is pretty bad, though.
Yeah, Virginia, one of the things they do very well and why they're going to be so good in the ACC is that they play very good run defense, only giving up 90 yards per game coming into this, and that's something you have to be able to do well is stop the run. Virginia doing that very well and having a very good day against Walter Reyes of the Qs.
All right, we continue with Air Force facing Utah. This one looked like it was going to go all the way for the Air Force early, but Utah leads them back. Alex Smith, 65 yards to Paris Warren, hits him in stride, and the game was tied at 14 apiece. And then Alex Smith does it on the ground.
You know, the thing about Alex Smith is that he's such a poised leader. He's got that experience. He doesn't panic, and their defense is very good. I was very surprised that Air Force came out and got up 14-0 on them early because Utah doesn't give up many points.
And Alex Smith has just thrown a 13-yard touchdown pass to add to this, so it is now a 28-14 lead after get the extra point. North Carolina facing Louisville. Louisville headed to the Big East. North Carolina, of course, in the ACC. Eric Shelton, 37-yard touchdown run, blows open the hole. I say, what happened to Syracuse? North Carolina's falling off the map as well.
North Carolina falling off the map big time. Louisville has a very potent offense, but I will give credit to the Tar Heels. They played them tough today.
Ryan Brome rolling out here, pumps once, sees he can get to the end zone, dives in. Louisville at that point with a 31-0 lead.
Louisville might be Cinderella. They're trying to put the slipper on right now.
That's another team, one of those majors
that could everybody who's unbeaten in there.
Upset the apple cart in the BCS. Eric Shelton, 13 carries, 86 yards, and 3 touchdowns. Arkansas over Alabama. I thought you saw this one coming.
Well, Alabama replacing Brody Croyle. They got an inexperienced quarterback there. Mac Jones is more experienced, so I thought Arkansas would handle them.
And Notre Dame, if not for that loss against BYU, they might be 4-0 after this.
Go Irish, baby. Enough said.
I never should have gone to the Irish guy about the Irish. Off, palms away. We continue with more on the Valvoline Halftime Show.
The Valvoline Halftime Show, brought to you by Valvoline Max Life, who reminds you at 75,000 miles, time to switch to Max Life.
This is the Valvoline Halftime Show. John Saunders, Craig James, and Aaron Taylor here. We have talked plenty about Purdue over the course of this young season. The main reason why they could contend in the Big Ten is because they have an outstanding quarterback in Kyle Orton. Orton in action today against Illinois, and they would need all the points he could put up on the board. 34 yards to Taylor Stubblefield.
Orton is very good, and Taylor Stubblefield, a nice compliment to him. Orton, watch the touch on this ball. Over the top, over both defenders. Touchdown, Purdue.
And Future goes back for Illinois. He gets sacked. He coughs up the ball. It's recovered by Ray Edwards. And Purdue holds on for the win, 38-30. Mississippi State against LSU. LSU trying to bounce back from a loss. They would do it. Broussard, 17 yards on the touchdown run, his third of the game.
You know, and our poor friend Sylvester Croom now knows that he has no players to work with.
In the ACC, Maryland against Duke. Joel Statham, 40 yards looking for Vernon Davis. You want to see some poor tackling?
Very bad by the Duke defense. Maryland got the win today, but they looked very sloppy doing it. 3 interceptions, 3 fumbles on the ground. Terrapin offense needs to protect better.
Statham again, though, 25 yards to Rich Parson, and Maryland ends up blowing away what it was a close game throughout. Much of the Statham, 360 yards passing and 4 touchdowns. Boston College against Wake Forest. This will be a conference game next year. BC running back A.J. Brooks, 11-yard run.
And you know what? It was interesting here late in the fourth quarter when Brooks goes in to score. BC had the lead, but Wake Forest made a valiant comeback. This was a well-fought, good football game.
You see the score, 4-point lead for BC. Corey Randolph, 40-yard pass to Willie Idolette. 17-14, second straight year the Wake has beaten BC in the final 2 minutes of a game. NC State against Virginia Tech. Vinnie Burns fumbles the snap. It's recovered by NC State. And 3 plays later, Marcus Stone takes it in from just a yard out. And this one, though, would come down to a kick for Virginia Tech. Brandon Pace, 43-yard field goal and a victory. And it just sails wide. So Virginia Tech loses. Again, this is their first year in the ACC. I think they're finding out that the football in the ACC is a lot better than they thought it was.
And Virginia Tech, all these years, so we watched Frank Beamer's team have the best special teams unit in America. They come out and fail them in this ball game. Virginia Tech, you got it right, boys. You better saddle it up because week in and week out in the ACC, it's going to be tough.
Yes, it is. It's going to be tough defensively as well. NC State today brought the wood. They sent everybody 10 sacks. That Virginia Tech offensive line was having problems. That's something that they can expect to see week in and week out in the ACC. Welcome to the league, big guys.
Miami and Virginia Tech again to the ACC this year. Boston College joins them next year, and they'll have a playoff next season. This is the Valvoline Halftime Show.
ABC Sports welcomes you back to this week's BCS Spotlight Game presented by ADT.
Chad Henne taking charge of the Wolverines as a freshman, and after giving Iowa a touchdown early, as we can see from the Pacific Life game summary, Michigan pretty much dominating this football game, scoring a couple of times after each of the 2 Iowa turnovers in that game, and Iowa suffering a couple of big sacks. And this, folks, is truly out of whack.
You unlock this.
Jerry,
there you go.
you know, I know that you were impressed with Tate. He was a game quarterback for him, but what's your feeling now having watched Chad Henne as a freshman here?
Well, it's apparent that his talent was not overbuilt. Okay, sometimes you hear all these things about guys. He's got everything they said. Plus, he is going to get better. I said, and I've been saying, he's going to be the most improved player in the Big Ten as this year goes along. Ohio State and Purdue at the end of the year is going to see a much better Chad Henne than we're seeing today. And by the way, not too bad today, 205 yards.
Yeah, exactly. And the defense, especially the front and then a couple of the corners for Michigan appear to be outstanding. There is Chad Henne down below. He'll handle the ball to start the second half.
The only thing about Michigan's team that I think is not at national championship quality, their offensive line to me doesn't look as vintage as I remember.
No, they're just okay. All right, Boss has been moved to center, so clearly Lloyd felt they need to strengthen up that middle a little bit and perhaps give Henne, one of their more experienced and better offensive linemen, a helping hand there, identify the defensive fronts for him. So Michigan with the lead and about to get the football. Weston to the 32, the speedy one, trying to shake and bake free. And Jack, what did Lloyd have to say down below?
Well, Brent, it was a spirited halftime in the Michigan Wolverine locker room, and Lloyd Carr may be one of the reasons why. On the way out, they were shouting, they were cheering, because Coach Carr issued an ultimatum, more like a challenge to his offense. He has now challenged his offense to drive down the field on this possession and get a score. I guess we'll have to wait and see.
Well, Chad Henne will come out. The defensive front for the Hawkeyes has been led by number 31, Matt Roth. And he's on that right side of that defensive front this time. Jackson starts as the running back. Roth stretches it out. Can't quite get there, but he was able to help jam it up at the line. And Jack was in Iowa City, and he asked Matt about the similarities between wrestling and football.
From move to move, you know, is usually a good takedowns, and it's the same with pass rushing. You know, it's not necessarily going to be that first move. It's that second, third, or fourth, where sometimes you just got to bowl them up and take them right to the quarterback, you know, break his will.
Roth going over to the left side of the defensive front now. Looking for the strong side of the formation. Draws the double team. And it's complete to Preston, short of the first down, out of bounds near side.
This Iowa defense is pretty veteran. 7 of these guys started all 12 games a year ago, so they have seen a lot of this football. But Michigan coming with the 4 wide receivers on non-obvious passing downs, second down and short, second and medium, is kind of throwing the Iowa defense out of whack a little bit. Easy throws. Here it is again. Wide receivers, that's Massaquoi, one of them, I think, or is that Gonzalez, 18 in the slot right here? One of the two.
Straight back, Henne in trouble. They sent the dime look in, and Antoine Allen was able to blitz it, the junior from Tampa, Florida, sacking Chad Henne.
Yeah, but Matt Roth was in there also. Flushed him over that time to kind of cause the sack to Allen. Matt Roth, just as he said it, I don't know if it was his first, second, third, or fourth move, but number 31 got in there again, right up the gut. Look at him getting held, flushed him, and got the sack right into Antoine Allen.
Tremendous football player, number 31. Adam Finley back to punt. Iowa needed a quick stop here in the second half. They'll set the return with Hinkle. Took a Michigan bounce. Down inside the 20, and Hinkle disgusted with himself for not fielding that ball and saving upwards of 10 yards that time.
The punt was so bad it was good. Hinkle couldn't get to it.
So we'll take a break. It'll be Hawkeye ball when we come back.
Somewhere, there's a man accessing sensitive information by way of a fingerprint, while a woman keeps track of millions of dollars in inventory, safeguarding it from the warehouse to your house. And a dad checks on his business from his son's baseball game. What do all these people have in common? They rely on America's #1 security company, ADT. Always there.
It's here, the hit show Extreme Makeover Home Edition 2-hour premiere, ABC Sunday.
Drew Tate brings the offense out. The rangy one, Scott Chandler, one of his wideouts. Clinton, Solomon, and Hinkle. Tate throws it in underneath, and good yardage to the 29-yard line, putting it in the hands of Holloway.
See, that's the way you have to keep this Michigan defense off balance. A little misdirection. Drew Tate is very good at throwing those short passes. Play action passes, how they started the game. Play action misdirection passes, how they start the second half. You're not going to drop back in the pocket and handle that Michigan blitz package every down. You have to keep them off balance, a little bit of misdirection, but that means they must run the ball better in the second half to do that.
Lewis does just that, breaking out to the 43-yard line for another first down.
Well, I thought this was key to Iowa's football game today. In order for Drew Tate to be effective, a first-year starter, just a sophomore, against this really good Michigan defense and that blitz package, Iowa would have to show a little bit of run. They don't have to rush for 250 yards, but 125 yards running the ball gives them the opportunity to do it. And 14 yards like that on first down is what Iowa's offense now. If you're Michigan, what do you do here? Is he going to do it, or is he going to come back?
Ernest Shazer with that big fumble recovery along with his half-dozen tackles. Bush checks in as the Iowa fullback, and timeout is called by Tate. So he checked that clock up above, seconds ticking away, and he calls a timeout. ABC Sports presentation of college football is brought to you by Hummer. Check out the H2 Hummer like nothing else. Pacific Life offering insurance, annuities, and investments. FedEx Kinko's your one-stop for copying, printing, and shipping. Bacardi Silver, lemon premium malt beverage, flavor your night. And AOL for broadband, proud sponsor of First and 10. Ann Arbor, Michigan. The Wolverines and the Iowa Hawkeyes, with Michigan leading at 16-7 and 12-27 to go here in the third quarter. There's that misdirection again, and then coming underneath for another first down. So, Gary, there's the same play. Tony Jackson, the senior tight end.
Yeah, that's what I would do, and that's going to force Michigan into changing their defense.
So along with Jack and Gary, I'm Brent Musberger, bringing you this Big Ten opener for these two schools, and I believe we're going to have an officials timeout, which allows us to talk a little bit about Marlon Jackson. We, of course, have detailed the fact that unselfishly he switched to safety, preferred to play the corner. So number 3 came back for his last year, and we asked him about his comfort zone at playing corner.
I just feel at home, out on the island, covering the wide receivers. It's just more natural to me. Everything that comes with that position, the techniques, the agility, the speed, everything just comes more natural to me, and I feel more at home at corner.
A lot of people are drawing comparisons with Marlon and Charles Woodson. I see more of a Ty Law in Marlon Jackson, a little more physical, like to come up and make plays, and Ty Law's had a nice career at the next level.
Tate down the middle, and Jackson goes up and makes a fine grab. So Tony Jackson from down the road in Ypsilanti moves the chains again here for the Hawks, and this is an impressive drive. 18 more yards.
Well, this was a dangerous throw. I thought Shazer right here was going to get this one, number 25. The ball's lobbed up. Comes over, was it the middle linebacker, Pierre Woods? Yes, it was the middle linebacker, Lawrence Reed, that almost got that one. That was one of those hots that came out, and really was a zone blitz instead of a blitz. Drew Tate was wrong. He lobbed it up and got away with it.
Hawkeyes have driven the ball 58 yards here in their first series of the second half. Bush, the lead block. Lewis cuts off it, and he is to the 16-yard line. And Jim Herman, the defensive assistant, is going to try to bring a little fire to his troops when he gets him over the sideline. The Hawkeyes are beating up on him.
Yeah, sometimes the pass can establish the run, and this is exactly what's happened. Michigan overrunning it badly that time. David Harris, you can see the inside linebacker overran it, but the play-action pass has gotten the Michigan defense out of sync, and now the running game goes through, and a nice job by Pete McMahon. His first game at tackle, switched over from a starting guard position to tackle. Big number 69 did a nice job there.
Chandler in as an H-back on the wing behind the tight end Jackson. They'll run it in that direction, and this time Wolverines were ready. And they threw Lewis for a loss that time as they jammed the play at the line of scrimmage. Woodley is there. Watson is there. Why don't you big old Watson?
Well, big Gabe Watson. He's got great quickness inside for a big man. Probably 340 pounds strong as stone. And he's got like roots. Can't knock this guy down.
So you think Tommy Amaker could use him as a point guard, huh?
Yeah, there he is inside. Look at him. Can't knock him down. Stays on his feet. And that's the type of nose tackle you need in a 3-4.
Hinkle is off to the right, and he's matched up with Jackson. They're going to go one-on-one. Second and long. Tate wants to set a screen, and it's deflected, incomplete. Spectacular play by Sean Crable, the sophomore from the great Massillon, Ohio.
For whatever reason, I think Jamel Lewis, number 29, took too long to get out on the screen. Tate comes back. Watson kind of runs him over. Watson, and whew, big number 2, Prescott Burgess, or Sean Crable, I'm sorry, came in and swatted that baby down. They had a nice play there. It took a little too long for the back to get out there, and Michigan's great athletes knocked that ball right back into Tate.
Third down. Grabbed inside the 10, short of the first down. Short of the first down, which leaves Ferentz with the decision.
Well, it's a 9-point game, so 3 points is very valuable in this football game.
There's Kirk over on the sideline right now, seeing where that ball is spotted.
He wants a measurement. Give himself time. Yeah, we're going to measure.
I thought for sure he was short of it as the catch was made by Clinton Solomon, the junior from Fort Worth.
Well, Solomon is pretty tall, and that was a nice spot he got. He goes almost 6'4", and he kind of stretched that ball out there. Just one-on-one to the outside. Nice throw by Tate.
Is that eyesight or what,
yeah,
Mr. Daniel?
That's luck.
You got that right.
It's a tough call by Kirk Ferentz right here now. Kirk, now you take 3 and make it. Oh, we know next touchdown takes the lead.
The way kicking has gone,
yeah,
you can call timeout.
Wow, that's
the way kicking has gone in college football, right. I'm going for this one.
I'm surprised you take a timeout. They've already used one timeout in the game.
Well,
See, that's one, I think that's a timeout that you just can't take. You need those at the end of the game.
Well, the one beautiful thing that you've got in the college game.
Yeah, he waved it off. Look at that. He did not want it. He knew. That's where that, NFL experience, saving those timeouts are really important. Make a call and live with it, right?
Lloyd's saying, wait a minute. I saw a timeout call.
Hey! They got 10 seconds. Oh, they might have to take one.
They have to call timeout now. They're down to 5 seconds. They're going to have to use a timeout. And I think Tate's going to say the clock started on us. And,
that was a misfire by the coach right there. That cost him.
Yeah. So the Hawkeyes botch one down here. I saw it call timeout. I agree, Lloyd. Absolutely. We saw it up here. No question about that. So we'll take a break. If that youngster from a year ago, Kading, was setting up to kick this, I'd say watch for the fake. But this is Kyle Schlicker, the sophomore, and their new kicker. This would be a 25-yard attempt. Playing the math, as Gary Danielson suggested, because remember, Michigan botched an extra point. They elect to pick up the 3 points, which pulls them to within a couple of field goals of a tie and a touchdown and an extra point of a lead. So the mathematics dictating, and from our vantage point, the only puzzle up here is why hesitate? Why waste the timeout?
Yeah, I think the final decision was good. The way they arrived at it was a little discombobulated. Nice drive by Drew Tate. Absolutely, and a good job by Kirk Ferentz to go over there to say that's what we need out of you. Tate's going to be a great Big Ten quarterback before he's done.
Well, we've got 111,428, 111,428. Maybe it includes those pigeons.
29, 30, 31.
They've got quite a few over there. Will they have to pay for those seat licenses next year?
You know, if Don Cannon was still here, he'd figure out a way to sell those seats.
He was the great old athletic director here. One of his great teams, the '64 Wolverines, were honored here earlier today. Bump Elliott, the coach, enjoyed seeing with him and visiting with many of these fellas. And this will come out on the 20-yard line. Preston will take a knee. So the '64 team was honored, and it actually is quite a story, because Michigan, for 7 years prior to these guys, had finished no better than 5th in the Big Ten. These guys won the conference. Their only loss that year was to Purdue and Bob Greasy by 1 point. They went out to the Rose Bowl for the first time in 15 years. Bob Timberlake, the quarterback, Mel Anthony, the running back. They beat Oregon State 34-7. One of the backups, the freshman on that team, was Dick Vidmer. Now he's down below in a wheelchair. Really enjoyed speaking with him. He's suffering from MS. He's still very alert. He remembers all the fellas from that team.
Absolutely.
And just great memories in talking to Dick.
You know he's alert when he remembers me.
Exactly. And there is you-know-who, folks.
Jeez.
Are you kidding me? That first step is as good as I've seen in the college game in a couple of years.
You know,
Matt Roth out of Villa Park, Illinois.
You know where he reminds me of, and he dominates a game like David Pollock out of Georgia. Very similar football player.
And he looks a little bit.
Yeah, hot, big motor. You know, it's always going. Another player that played at Iowa here that I did a while back, Jared DeVries. Very similar football player to him that played now with the Detroit Lions at defensive end. Those game-breaking type guys that just, you know, well, why is he? Why can't we block him? He's not 6'8". He doesn't run a 4.3 40. He just plays football.
And they're moving him around. He's over on the right side of that rush front now, trying to get in on Henne. I'll tell you, almost intercepted.
Almost.
In fact, it looked to
twice.
me, number 20 took his eye off at Allen coming up for a second. He was the second guy. Let's take a look at this again.
Well, Marcus Pascal, number 25, had the first shot at it. It's going to go across here. It's overthrown this time to Braylon Edwards. Pick route over the middle. Now watch it. One missed, one missed, one missed. Three missed guys almost get the ball.
It was deflected.
Tip.
Right off. And Allen, that was a harder catch than it looked.
Well, Marcus Pascal could have intercepted it.
Yeah, exactly. Pascal had a better shot at it. You're right. Third down. Now Henne. Offensive line does its job. He goes up on top. Incomplete.
That's the toughest pass to throw for a quarterback. The stutter and go, because the receiver comes to a dead stop and he never accelerates again. It's very difficult to throw that ball on target.
That's a long pass you like.
Oh, well, the number one, though.
Doesn't count if it's A-man, right?
Pretty good call, though, right there. You knew Iowa was thinking crossing route, and they went for the deep one on the play. Another stop by Iowa. Give it to Matt Roth, though.
And here comes Finley, an academic All-American 3 times. Bellis is set to return this punt, and you know, suddenly it is Iowa coming out of the locker room with intermission, charged up, and after stopping Michigan on the first series, they stopped Michigan again, and now they got a chance. They'll be working with half a field here. Bellis down at the 49-yard line, so right near midfield. And now a reminder, 3:30 Eastern. We got college football coming your way. You'll see one of these games. Of course, many of you in the Midwest will watch these Wolverines go down to Indiana, Miami, into Atlanta to play on against Georgia Tech, Colorado against Missouri in the Big 12. 3:30 Eastern next Saturday, right here on ABC. So here comes Drew Tate now, bringing the offense up, Gary.
Successful drives for Iowa has been play-action passes. Let's see if they continue to do it.
Tate takes it off and picked up a couple of yards. And what did Ferentz tell the offense down there, Jack?
Well, Brent, Kirk Ferentz is not one to go over to the offense during exchanges, you know, during changes in series. But that time he did for the first time today. And he grabbed each and every one of the players, starting with Drew Tate, and he told them that's the way to play intensity ball. He said, look, we're going to keep doing what we're doing. And, Gary, you're absolutely right. He also brought up the fact that he's going to try and do a little bit more play-action passing.
You got Marlin on the slot here in this formation.
Second down, caught at the 45-yard line. Well, and speaking of the Iowa coach, Ferentz, Jack asked him about the personality of this year's Hawkeye team.
We really have to maximize our potential. We have to go out and play smart football. And, you know, there's not much margin for error right now, especially if you consider the injuries that we've incurred. So, you know, I think the biggest thing right now, we have to be a detailed football team. We have to be a team that's going to hustle, play smart, and hopefully play tough.
Well, they have hustled and they have played tough in this game. It looked for a time like they might get blown out, but they're right in the thick of things now, facing that 3rd and 4. Down the near sideline to the running back, incomplete. 4th down from the 45-yard line.
Drew Tate got away with one again there. That was a bad read. He thought he had man-to-man coverage on the running back, but there was a safety in the middle of the field, and had he thrown that accurately, that would have been intercepted. Good stop by the Michigan defense, finally put some pressure, and they went man-to-man. Michigan has good enough defensive backs to lock up man-to-man. Sometimes I think when you play zone against a team like Iowa, you're giving them a break.
You know, usually something goofy happens in a Michigan-Iowa game. This has been a little bit different here today. We haven't had that blocked kick, punt return for a touchdown. Bradley, it's off another one. On into the end zone, coming on the 20.
Let's go back one play and see what the mistake Drew Tate made on that passing play. He read that it was man-to-man right here on the running back that was going to go down the field, but he forgot to find this guy. You always have to find that safety when you throw the ball downfield. Look at him run to this left now. He's in the middle of the hash, and he reads the lob pass. If the ball would have gone right now, that would have been intercepted in the field and went out of play. And fortunately for Iowa, they got away with a bad read by Drew Tate. You know, the crowd is out of the game, too, for Iowa right now. They may be able to drive the ball and stop them. It's quiet in here.
First down from the 20. Stepping, wow! Hart was a footstep away from breaking it as Lewis, the senior linebacker from Fort Lauderdale, was hanging on. Let's check in with John on an update.
Brent, I'm sure you're aware of this, but it is amazing. Coming into their game against Clemson, Florida State had not thrown a touchdown pass all year. Wyatt Sexton in for Chris Ricks. That was picture perfect to Chauncey Stovall, and a 24-16 lead.
All right, John, so the battle of the Bowdens, continues down there. Here is Hart, the freshman from Syracuse, out to the 29-yard line.
Well, I tell you, Mike, you said it. Michael Hart almost broke this one. Watch his skill right here as he goes through the hole this time. He sees it. He cuts it. Now watch him jump to the outside. Jump. Oh, that's the type of running back that can break the big ones. He's in one spot, and then he's breaking to the outside. And if George Lewis, number 50, hadn't laid out, he could have gone all the way.
Well, we'll see if they use him here or if Henney just goes ahead for the first down. Chad Henney, that's how they scored the touchdown, so it is a first down. Jack, Hart, we saw him play a high school game back at Syracuse, didn't we?
Yeah, we were watching Miami, Syracuse, and it was high school championship football time. Michael Hart is no stranger to zigging and zagging and being able to carry the ball. Here at Little Onondaga High School, just outside of Syracuse, he set a record that stands to this day, Brent. 204 career touchdowns. But by the way, is that a green Michigan-type helmet he wore in high school?
You know, I think it is. I'm not sure I noticed it that day.
That was just a bad wash job. It faded. They give him their old uniforms here.
I think he was in love with the helmet. He saved that high school program, Jack was telling me, that they were getting ready to drop football completely. And he is a schoolboy legend in northern New York. And here he is coming out in a screen pass now. That he can't get past Greenway, the 31-yard line. Greenway's a tough tackling linebacker.
Well, last year, Abdul Hodge, 52, and Chad Greenway were first and third in the Big Ten in total tackles. And you can see why on this play. Greenway right here, he has to take on a blocker and then one-on-one take on the running back. Watch this. He reads it, and there he's got him one-on-one. He sheds the blocker, gets rid of him, and makes an open field tackle. Perfectly done. That's why you're 1 or 3 in the Big Ten in tackles.
Well, here's your 4 wide for Henney on this second and long.
And Iowa does not substitute again. 3 linebackers.
Henney gets time, got Breston on the near side, and I believe he is short of the first down. It's close down there. Allen makes the stop. So just what Gary pointed out here, Hodge and Greenway, look at their production. Wow.
And they are amazing. That's why people have trouble running the ball. Those guys up front take on the linemen, and they're free to roam. And then if those linemen get on them, they're athletic enough to get away from that block and sure tacklers. They both have a great, great future at the next level.
They're down and short again for the Wolverines. And Roth might have broken as the fullback was stutter stepping to the right. Might have drawn him offside, which is a first down. Let's see how this one shakes out. I don't believe the fullback moved forward.
Offside defense. Number 31 with contact. 5-yard penalty. Results in a first down.
Yeah, the motion by Dudley and Roth, who guesses on snap counts and usually guesses right. By the way, on the all-new 2-hour season premiere of Extreme Makeover Home Edition, desperate single dad and his 8 kids get the home of their dreams. All new Sunday, only on ABC, Extreme Makeover. Now it's a first down after the penalty on Roth. There's that motion. They sent him right at Roth, and Hart broke off that lead block You know, Dudley, you can't talk enough about the Michigan football. He never carries the ball. He carried the ball once last year, as I recall, and he certainly hasn't carried it this year. He's just one of those fine college football players.
Yeah.
Leads the ISO, comes out now. They'll send in an extra tight end. Tyler Eckers replaced him, but what a job he does.
Great story about Kevin Dudley. He's been lobbying Lloyd Carr, saying, you know, all these blocks, I started out 6'6". Now I'm 5'10" here running this ISO. Give me one chance to get a touchdown before I leave Michigan. He's been lobbying hard.
First and goal in the one against Ohio State. Game over. They'll do it. Here on the roll now is Henney. I believe he is short of the first down. That was a fine lick by George Lewis, the other linebacker.
That's one thing you do notice about Iowa. All of their linebackers are sure tacklers. They don't miss a lot of tackles.
Time permitting, the Thrifty Carvana postgame report with John, Craig, and Aaron. Stay tuned now. Highlights and analysis from today's matchups. That Clemson, Florida State game are good. Not a lot of marquee games on the college football schedule today, but conference action.
Why don't you take a week off then, Brent? If it's, you know, there's really not a lot of marquee games.
Thank you so much for offering me a week off. I will have to consider that this week. 3rd down and 3. Reston, he's outside with the right for Henney. Steps up in the pocket, but he was hit as he released, forcing the ankle. One thing about Henney, he is not afraid to step up in the pocket, and he's a former wrestler. His daddy apparently was a young wrestler. And,
that play took a long time, though. He only needed 3 yards, and it took a very, very long time to get the receivers across. And he just didn't have time to get that ball on target.
So Finley is back into punt. They're going to gamble again, and it goes into the end zone. Oh, we've had some wonderful aerial shots of the Big House today, courtesy of our friends at Outback Steakhouse, proud sponsor of the Outback Bowl in Tampa. The Outback Steakhouse airship, the Bloomin' Onion 1, provides aerial coverage for sporting events across the country. Well, there we are. Purdue 38, Illinois 30, Michigan State 30, Indiana 20, and of course later Penn State at Wisconsin, Northwestern at Minnesota, Ohio State get the week off, and I'm sure many of them are watching the Big Ten action around the country. Tate comes in on the roll now. That tight end is a load, ladies and gentlemen. Tony Jackson. He's tough to bring down, Gary, after he gets the ball.
Yeah, 270 pounds, Tony Jackson, and he is a load after he catches. Watch this subtle, nice play by Drew Tate. This is why Kirk Ferentz says he's going to be a good quarterback. He's got pressure from Roy Manning, I believe, right in his face. Take your time, let the guy jump, refocus downfield, don't panic, and throw a strike. That's all you need from a quarterback to make the simple plays like that. He's having a very fine football game against this Michigan defense.
Uh-oh, handoff is botched, and Michigan jumps on the fumble. Michigan recovered a botched handoff by Tate. He hit the running back, and Scott McClintock recovers the fumble for the Wolverines, and they've got a scoring opportunity here.
And that's all on the quarterback this time. He stretches it out. I don't know if he hit the upback, Tom Bush. Did he hit the fullback? Yes, he did. Sometimes that's why you have to stomach that ball and not give it to the tailback until the fullback clears. That is the quarterback's mistake.
Now a short field for freshman Chad Henne and the Wolverines. Braylon Edwards will go off to the right side of the formation. Sometimes after a quick change like this,
they did it last time.
Lloyd Carr and Michigan, they'll go airborne and try to strike right away. Hart bounces and loses 5 yards.
Guess who?
As Matt Roth does it again. Let's check in with New York.
Time now for the Pontiac game-changing performance update. And Aaron, it's your week.
Wake Forest quarterback Corey Randolph throwing the 40-yard zip to get the big win over BC. Remember, John, this is the second straight year that Wake has pulled off a victory over BC in the last 2 minutes.
So Wake Forest does it again to BC. And
5-yard penalty, still first down.
So still first down after the penalty.
Wow, that's a huge call because Iowa had him backed up for a loss on that play. I did not hear that. Would they line up offsides in the neutral zone? Lined up offsides. Another self-inflicted wound. Iowa's really done it to themselves and kept Michigan in the game.
There was movement. Roth came across. I don't know if he was pulled or not.
Defense with contact.
It is possible that Chad Henne has been using a hard count down there on Matt Roth, because that's twice now they've caught him. And we take you back. Here's the turnover on the bad handoff. McClintock jumps on it. And the Wolverines are inside the Hawkeye 15-yard line. They lead it by 6. Remember, they missed an extra point in this game, or it would be a 7-point lead. First down and 10. Braylon Edwards comes down in motion. Hart to the middle. Scoots to the 7-yard line. It'll be second down for the Wolverines.
Really interesting. The formation for Michigan that time had all of the linebackers and the secondary people for Iowa looking at the receivers. They were playing combo coverages, trying to read releases, looking for their guy in pass coverage, and Michigan hits them with a quick hitter for a very effective running game.
I think the coaches took Matt out for play just to kind of calm him down a little bit in there.
Look at Braylon goes out. He gets 2 guys to basically come with him. That's like blocking a half a guy.
Second and 4. Hart again. Battles toward the end zone. Got it. Touchdown, Michigan. A tough little freshman from upstate New York.
Well, 3 turnovers, 21 points, or 3 touchdowns off of 3 turnovers has put the position they are for Iowa right now.
Revis, who missed that extra point earlier, keeps this one well to the right.
This time right up the gut. Good blind block in that time from Michigan behind Boss, the All-American. Leo Hennigy, number 65, does a nice job, but that's the way you run the football, and that's what they like about Hart. Not only he scoots around, but he's got power.
Not only that, you're watching freshman score his first touchdown ever as a Michigan Wolverine.
Wow, that's nice. Yep. He's going to score many more.
Yeah, he's the man. No question. The 2 freshmen, it'll be the H&H boys, Henne and Hart. Michigan up by 13. Nienberg with the ball on the tee. He's the kickoff man for the Wolverines. And again, it'll be Bellis. He's been a very busy return man to the 24-yard line.
Let's see, do you think Iowa can hurry up and score here in the 3rd quarter, Brent? Because I got to tell you, in the 3 games, Iowa has no touchdowns on offense in the 4th quarter. Their only score, a punt return with 17 seconds to go against Arizona State.
If they're going to do it, I think they might have to do it on this play. 3 ticks of the clock. Lewis fumble. Michigan. So we will start the fourth quarter with the Wolverines again working with a short field. Remember this statistic. The Hawkeyes now have turned it over 4 times. The Wolverines scored after 3 of them. Back after this message on words from our ABC station.
You're watching college football on ABC Sports Championship Television.
Coming from behind, Roy Manning, number 58, is the guy that reaches around the back, causes the fumble, scooped up by Leon Hall. That's a second caused fumble in 2 games by Roy Manning. A first-year starter, Brent, and a senior. He's hung in there and earned his spot.
So Henne and the Wolverines with another golden opportunity as Hart battles to the 25-yard line. Henne has thrown today for 218 yards. Hart has now rushed for 59 yards, and Edwards has 132 yards, receiving 4 passes. Edwards has scored. Hart has scored. Henne has thrown for a touchdown. I remember he also rushed for 1. So they are your dominant figures here in this game. A quarterback starting to grow up, a young running back, and a veteran wide receiver. Edwards coming in motion. Henne throws it, and he avoided the sack by throwing it out of bounds that time as Roth was in on top of him.
Now let's remember, Matt Roth's having a good game. He's switching a little bit around in the nickel package, but he's mostly lining up on the left side and facing Jake Long, a freshman. Now, Jake Long's going to be a great football player for Michigan, and he's a good run blocker, but big number 77, 335 pounds, has his handful with the senior veteran Big Ten football player. Big Jake is getting a real education here today.
3rd down. And he fires to Edwards again. And Edwards was reaching for the 1st down. That's why you saw him extend as he's close to the mark, and Pascal defended the play.
You know, you might be tempted if you have a freshman quarterback to say, let's run the ball, let's protect them. But with these receivers, I don't see how you can. If you want to win the Big Ten championship, which obviously Michigan always tries to do, you've got to use these guys, and they're just so good, you got to throw the ball.
And watching the quarterbacks warm up, Gary, the whole package, Henne threw the ball better than any of them, than the upperclassmen. There was no question he's got the strongest of the arms on this Michigan team. And you're exactly right. They've got to get the ball in the hands of the receivers. And how about this young running back battling to the 2-yard line?
He fumbled that one at the end of the play.
Put it down.
It's going to be a touchback.
That's what he's signaling.
Yep.
Touchback. Tried to battle a little bit too much.
You know, it was great blocking again by that Michigan line. This is Iowa's defensive line. They do get the holes blown in front of them like this. Coming up, draw inside, plenty of room to run the ball. Hart stretches, moves, gets to the outside, has the ball, and gets pumped away right at the end of this one. You can see it gets stripped out and gets on the ground and into the end zone.
So we'll take a break as the Hawkeyes have the ball on the 20. Here's why we did not have instant replay and a respot. Lloyd Carr upset, but watch. Does he have control of the football? No. And his arm has crossed the goal line when he wraps it up. Out on the 20-yard line as we welcome you back to the BCS Spotlight game presented by ADT. The spotlight falls on Lloyd Carr, who said, "Are you kidding me? That was down on the 1-foot line." Coach, you were wrong that time. Officials got it right. Here we go now from the 20-yard line. And Lewis in deep trouble is down at the 8. McClintock.
Not against this defense, you're not going to do that. Switch your field, going around like that and cut back. That has been a lot of big bad plays, and Iowa hasn't been able to recover it. Stretch out. Lamar Woodley, number 56, does a great job shedding his block from Scott Chandler, getting into the back zone, and then that speed on defense from Michigan just eats it up.
Tate brings the Hawks out. Sets the screen. Lewis. And the Wolverines swarm all over him before he get too big of a gain. You know, the one thing, Gary, that we should talk about, because it's been the first time that you and I have had an opportunity to handle instant replay. And I think the system, from what we've experienced here so far in this particular game, has worked perfectly. We've had a touchdown looked at right away on the sideline. We've had a couple fumble situations, and right there is spotting of the ball.
Well,
so no complaint about instant replay from this game today.
Considering the economics of college football, this might be as good as you can get. You know, I mean, it's a good first step. Will it get better? We'll see. But it is an experiment this year. Remember, a one-year experiment.
So there was movement, and the offense might have moved first to the right side of the Hawkeyes offensive line.
Prior to the snap, ball start offense, number 69. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
Well, Michigan with a 13-point lead here, Gary. And what's your feeling now about the Wolverines? They were certainly picked by everybody, but a couple things happened to them.
I think they're going to get better. It looks like they're going to find a running back that's going to get better. Their defense is for real. We all knew that. Chad Henne will get better, and they've got game breakers at wide receiver.
Jackson blitzing. Here he comes. He's got a shot at him, and Tate got it off, but it's intercepted. Picked off by Grant Mason, and Mason battles inside the 5. Got it. Mason, touchdown on the interception. A 25-yard interception return for the Michigan touchdown. Michigan was originally going to go for 2.
No, Braylon Edwards was going to go for 2.
I think so. He was the only one. And Lloyd said, no, I don't think so, Braylon. We'll go for a 20-point lead right here.
What I think happened to Braylon is I don't think he thought they scored. He thought maybe they didn't score, and he got just the interception. Pressure coming from the backside. Ball thrown behind the receiver. Tate tries to pick it up. Throws the ball to a spot. It's the wrong spot in Grant Mason. Look at this. Look at the Michigan defenders trying to find blocks. Look at that guy's elbow right in the middle of that picture, but he gets it. Drew Tate tries to throw it just a little bit early than he had to, and it gets picked off.
So Grant Mason, who transferred from Stanford after 2 seasons with the Cardinal, picks one off and then battles to the pylon. And Michigan leads it 30-10.
Here's how it started. Marlon Jackson pressure, ball thrown way early. Receiver turns inside. Grant Mason was watching that ball the whole way. That's an easy pick and a wonderful run into the end zone. He kind of got thrown into the end zone on that play too. Nice play and 5 turnovers.
Out of the end zone, coming on the 20, an ABC Sports presentation of college football. Brought to you by Jeep. Trail-rated capability only in a Jeep 4x4. Aflac, ask about it at work. Samuel Adams, when you're ready for a distinctive brew, Samuel Adams, always a good decision. Outback Steakhouse, no rules, just right. And AOL for broadband, proud sponsor of First and 10. Wolverines up 20.
You know what lesson I have if I'm going to play the Wolverines? Stay out of long yardage situations. Keep that nickel defense off the field.
Tate throws to the running back Lewis in underneath, and nothing doing on that play. You know, we've talked about Marlon Jackson, and he's a Thorpe Award nominee given to the best defensive back, and we asked him his thoughts on being a nominee for the 3rd straight year.
It's just a heck of an honor just to be nominated for it. I've been nominated for 3 years, but it would be one of my greatest honors just to win this award and get to hold this trophy.
Now that is the trophy won by Charles Woodson, and Jackson, one of the leading candidates for that award this year, as Tate is sacked. And John, what's going on now with Clemson, Florida State?
Well, Brent, it's the singular All-America Player of the Week. Justin Miller had a kick return, 97 yards for a touchdown, then a kick that he returned 86 yards for a touchdown, 252 yards overall. If you want to vote, fans, text the word player to 64444 or go on to ESPN.com, keyword singular.
All right, John, at 31-22, the Noles with the lead in Tallahassee. Tate couldn't find a receiver. Now fires on the run. Got Hinkle. Hinkle kept moving, and he's across midfield. Got himself open, Gary.
Wow, that was a
penalty flag comes late.
Probably a face mask on the tackle. What a great play by Drew Tate. I mean, he's scrambling and finds a guy down the field that late. That's a wonderful play. Tate's got great potential, I'm telling you. But they've got to learn Iowa. They had 3 turnovers on the year and 5 in this game coming in. You can't do that against Michigan.
Well, Michigan is at the other side of that takeaway. You know, the first 3 games, they already led the nation, right, with 14. Right. They got 5. Give them 19. Keep them in first place.
Yeah.
They'll be the leader in the clubhouse.
There's no foul on the play. It's been ruled that the receiver was bumped out of bounds by the defense.
Here's Hinkle. Let's see if he gets jammed out of bounds. Grant Mason gives him a little push. You have to try to get back in right away. The hat goes down right there, the hat, and then he catches it. Good work by the official crew. Jammed out of bounds. You have to try to get in right away. He did and makes the catch. But Drew Tate, to avoid that rush and then find a guy that far downfield, you can see the potential he has down the road.
And now with 3 wide, they put Jackson in on the slot receiver. That puts him closer to the quarterback in case they want to blitz him. He's not showing blitz at all this time. Tate is back on the move, firing to Hinkle, who sits down at the 25-yard line. Came to the other side.
Same play, other side.
Let's check in down below with Jack.
Well, Brent, you were talking about the takeaways and how well Michigan has done this season. It's by design. Not only do they practice it hard in practice, but the members of the defense led by Marlon Jackson told us that they have a saying for it. It's called GTBB. Get the ball back.
Well, they better use it right now because the Hawkeyes showing a pretty good looking drive. Here's Hinkle on that flanker screen to the 22-yard line, and they've driven the ball by 57 yards. Woodley defends it.
Michigan has been in the 3-man rush, prevent defense this whole drive. They're playing the clock right now, 30-10. They feel good. They're forcing in Iowa to try to take some clock, but the chunk plays by Drew Tate has kind of caught this Michigan defense off balance. Look to see if Marlon Jackson doesn't come on this one. There he is right here.
Nope, backing off. The left tackle and the linebacker was standing up on the right side.
Yeah, Lamar Woodley.
Back up, and that was Lee Gray. So that's Lee Gray moved. He is replacing Robert Gowry. And folks, how impressive was Robert Gowry? Well, as you know, he was picked number 2 by the Oakland Raiders, but he protected the blind side at Iowa for 4 different quarterbacks in as many years. 4 different quarterbacks. And he helped clear the way for a 1,000-yard rusher each of 4 seasons. So Robert Gowry, another one of those big linemen who Kirk Ferentz and the coaching staff misses so much today. Lee Gray going to be a good one. He's 6'6", 310, a junior out of Dallas, but he's not in the Gowry category right now. 2nd down. Tate fires, incomplete, and it's 3rd down. So time permitting, the Thrifty Car Rental post-game report. John, Craig, and Aaron, stay tuned. Highlights and analysis from today's matchups around the country.
Well, that was the right guy to throw to. He had man-to-man coverage, inside technique from the strong safety Shazer that time, and he went to the right person. Should have been caught by Scott Chandler. Big 87 right there. His brother would have told him that last year, wouldn't he?
Yes, he would have.
Last year's quarterback.
There's a big fella. 3rd down. Complete. the 20-yard line, and that'll bring up a 4th down. The Hawkeyes, of course, trailing it by 20. They're going to keep firing.
Corner blitz that time that was reacted to very well that time. Drew Tate limping again. I'll tell you, you face that Michigan blitz all game, you just keep getting hammered back there. Look at him. He's trying to flex it. I don't know if he got a cramp or whatever, but when he stepped to throw that ball, something gave way.
The redshirt freshman, Eric McCollum, is behind him. Here's your 4th down. Hawkeyes need to get inside the 15.
Interesting, he's going under center here.
Got to get it off. Saved it beautifully. Can run for it. Going for the end zone. How about that? Drew Tate in deep trouble. Gets outside the containment and goes the distance for the Hawkeyes.
Iowa's not sending their team on. There must be a flag on the play. There is down here, bottom of the field. Boy, that's like a turnover right there. Had to be illegal formation. That's the only thing I can think of where they misaligned.
So again, Bill Lamagnier is our referee, and he's huddling there. The line judge is Julius Libas.
Drew Tate's on the sideline. He's saying touchdown. The extra point team's waiting, and the officials are saying, let's get this right, guys. This is a touchdown for Iowa. This is a huge call.
He's checking over with the back judge, Tommy Herbert.
Take an extra few seconds and make sure on this one.
Yes, exactly. And yeah, give the ref a massage back there, Marlon. You know, get.
You're right. You're right. Keep coming.
We should have had a dead ball foul for number 88 in the offense, being in the neutral zone at the snap.
Yep.
That becomes a dead ball foul. It will be a 5-yard penalty. We'll repeat 4th down. We'll reset the game clock. 8:02. 8:02 on the game clock.
So what they're saying is the wide receiver that time, Clinton Solomon, lined up across the line of scrimmage. Right here. That's what they say it is, right here. Boy, the ball is across the. Is the ball across the line?
No.
And he's across the line. The ball's not, and he is.
Yeah,
that's a good call.
Libas was looking right at it down the line, and he made the call.
Run back.
And it's interesting.
Now they're going to explain it to Kirk over there on the.
Well, the interesting thing is, it had really no effect on the play at all, except that it's going to make them do the play all over again. Right. Everybody played it as a logical formation. Just he lined up off sides.
It did have an effect on the outcome of the play, however, I might argue.
Well, it didn't have any effect on the play.
On how the play unfolded. Exactly. But the outcome, yes, because it comes
obviously.
Back. You know, 4th down. Here's Tate. Almost has his head taken off. And there is a penalty, a free shot for the end zone. Leaping incompletion, they'll go again. And this will be an automatic 1st down. The Hawkeyes live to fight again on this one. As a tough Texan. Looked like he was going to have his whole head ripped off by the Wolverines.
His face chin strap never even came off on that play. Didn't even come unbuckled.
Personal foul, face mask. Number 2 on the defense. By rule, when the quarterback in possession of the ball lost his helmet, the ball became dead by rule. Previous spot, half the distance to the goal, automatic, 1st down.
As soon as the helmet comes off, it should have been whistled dead. So even if they would have scored again,
I know if he'd have caught it.
Crable coming around the outside, he gets the face mask. Ooh. Oh my goodness.
That was nasty.
Comes off, the ball should be whistled dead right now, and it's over. Crable just reaching for the shoulder pads, not a dirty play here. Just happens. It's what happens sometimes, but everything's dead at that point. Even if he throws another touchdown. the fine print would have said, go again.
But they do get to go again now, as the ball is spotted down at the 12-yard line. Tate
throw it away.
Waits, fires, incomplete, and Chandler was the receiver working in the end zone against Mason. So with Gary Danielson and Jack Arute, I'm Brent Musberger. In our Pacific Life game summary, it has been a story of Iowa turnovers, a total of 5, and the Wolverines score after 4 of them. So with 7.5 minutes to go, they are up by 20 points right now. But the Hawks are threatening inside the 15-yard line. Tate, and immediately upon catching the ball, Scott Chandler is driven out of bounds by Ernest Shazer.
Iowa continues to go to their tight end side on this formation. They need to come back the other way. Michigan is tilting their defense to that side, and it's one-on-one on the backside. They're trying to throw the ball away from Marlon Jackson, and Michigan is smartly trying to tilt it away from Marlon also. I think you're just going to have to go at him. It's one-on-one to this side. It gets too crowded the other way.
Marlon is lined up opposite the slot. This is the 3rd down. Hinkle goes in motion. Middle's open. Here comes Hinkle across the field, reaches for the end zone. And he's got the touchdown.
Boy, Drew Tate is tough. I'll tell you that right now. He has got the Texan beaten out of him today. And he stands in there and waits as long as he can. Gets hit again as he lets the ball go, and Hinkle cuts across and reaches out and gets that football across the goal line. It's called a touchdown. Hinkle again throws it with guys falling in his legs, getting rolled up, turn around all day. He's been done like that.
Schlicker will attempt the extra point.
The extra point is added. So Schlicker. And on the day, Ed Hinkle now with 2 touchdowns. We'll show them to you when we come back. Ed Hinkle is from Erie, Pennsylvania, a junior receiver. Now both of these touchdown passes came on 3rd down plays. Beautiful leaping grab against Jackson in the end zone. Then in motion, coming clear across the formation, reaching out and scoring his 2nd touchdown. 1 3rd and goal and the other 3rd and 8. So one thing you got to say about these Iowa youngsters, they have not given up one thing here today. They have been tough hombres.
No, not Iowa Hawkeye football. And Ed was hurt last year a lot. He missed 4 games and really set back Iowa's team a year ago. But
timeout.
So Michigan calling a timeout. It's 30-17 with 7:28 to go. Wolverines originally were concerned about an onside kick, and we will see. 7:28 remaining here in the 4th quarter. 30-17. Michigan holding to the lead against a scrappy Iowa Hawkeye team. And again, Michigan on the onside kick. Jack Arute reminded me that they call this unit Kangaroo. So they're fully expecting a possible onside kick here. The Hawkeyes elect to take it deep. Picked off by Tab. Tab looks for an alley to the 16-yard line. And Gary, let's take a look at our Jeep rushing playbook.
Well, we look for rushing in this football game. The combine of both teams, 60 yards. We're going to look at 1/6 of all the rushing in the game. Hart going for a touchdown. Michigan against this big Iowa defense, right up the gut. Hard to run wide on either team, and that was a touchdown by the little guy.
46 yards come off that total because of the sacks.
Yep,
that we've had here today. Iowa 3 for 28 yards in losses, and Michigan sacked Tate 4 times for 18 yards in losses. 1st and 10, and Hart, the freshman, picking up a couple more yards. And Derek Robinson, the senior from Minneapolis, makes a stop for the Hawks.
Michigan's going to try to take clock off and still try to get a first down. Remember, they got a freshman quarterback in there. They don't want a turnover, but they've got a game breaker or a game maker out there, first down maker out there. Number one, what do you do?
Right now, a couple of tight ends in this formation for the Wolverines. They throw it to the game breaker, put it one-on-one, and Braylon picks up the first down. Well, tonight on ABC's Saturday Movie of the Week, Tom Hanks and Helen Hunt star in Castaway. Tonight at 8, 7 Central, right here on ABC.
You just can't allow a team to line up against you with 9 men up there and not cover your best player. If it's 7 minutes, 6 minutes, you're just going to say, you know, Chad, you're going to do it for us. Braylon comes out, and this time Iowa sends 2 guys out with him, so it should be a little easier to run the ball.
Milks the clock. Hart straight ahead.
Hart has kind of lost his dance right now. He does not want to lay one on the ground. They put him. All right, get back in there, Hart. Get in there. If you fumble the ball, you're coming out, and you might not ever play, because he just took that ball and just kind of ran right into the pile that time.
One of our offensive leaders here today, Michael Hart, rushed for 80 yards. Chad Henne passing for 236, and Braylon Gary 150 yards.
You know who's real quiet in this offense now is Preston. He's such a weapon, and you just don't hardly see him in the offense this year, and I attribute most of that to a freshman quarterback.
And some pretty good coverage. That man is dangerous returning punch, isn't he? Here comes Hart. So it'll be third down. We check in with Jack Abdul-Hajj, another stop.
Hey, Brent, it's unbelievable. Gary was talking about, the one thing Hart doesn't want to do is fumble the ball. Well, that's one of the things that offensive coordinator Terry Malone talks about on their Friday meeting. Every Friday he goes over ball security, impresses it. And at the end of his little speech, Malone says, remember, if you put the ball on the ground, you're going to have a meeting with Uncle Lloyd.
3rd and 3. Well, they've got to be very impressed with the fact that Henne has not thrown a single interception. Iowa had a crack at a couple of them, but Hart slips, and I don't believe he got the first down.
No, he didn't.
See where that.
It's back about a yard and a half short.
Back about a yard. Exactly.
So you're going to see another one of those nickel. Will they go prevent this time? Iowa gets the ball back. It's fun time again around here in Ann Arbor. We ain't giving up on any games. We've seen stuff like this happen with a lot less time than this.
That's an eternity.
Exactly.
So Adam Finley trots out again. Bellis, the return man for the Hawkeyes, standing back at about the Iowa 21-yard line. They go to return it. And Bellis down at the 30-yard line. So the Hawkeyes are 70 yards away. And on the all-new 2-hour season premiere of Extreme Makeover Home Edition, a desperate single dad and his 8 kids get the home of their dreams. All new Sunday only on ABC. Down there, it'll be second down.
What a play. He is quick.
He's quite quick, isn't he?
He really is.
Yeah, the old Gabe Watson, he's a junior.
And he's playing, he's a big guy, 340, 50 pounds, and he's playing the same intensity and speed as he did in the first quarter. Look at that.
Tate spins. And he's down at the 34-yard line.
Going no huddle. 3-man line, and Gabe Watson is putting on pressure on almost by himself inside. Oh no. That's 4th down now. Another self-inflicted wound. The ball was snapped before the quarterback was ready on the play, and Iowa will have to go for it on 4th down. Not only that, they'll use their last timeout.
Timeout, Iowa. Iowa's third and final. Team timeout.
ABC's Lost is being called the best new drama on TV. If you see anything,
he's coming.
Run. The #1 best new show. An all-new Lost, Wednesday, 8/7 Central, only on ABC.
So we're back for the remaining 3:07 of this one. And we want to thank some folks around Michigan that done a great job with us here this week. The Media Relations Director, Dave Abloff. And Dave will vouch for the fact that you picked up lunch for his group yesterday. And so that when you give it to the Associate Athletic Director, Bruce Mabdi, he says, okay. Yeah. And we thanked them for the help, though. They were great. We came up.
Brent only ordered 1 bottle of wine, too.
At the University of Iowa, the Sports Information Director, he took care of Jack Arute out there in Iowa City. We paid him a visit. Phil Hattie, thanks to those fellas, they certainly make our life a lot easier. Well, always good to see the folks back in the Midwest. Guess we'll be down in Indiana next week. Or you'll be down there for Michigan and Indiana in a couple of weeks. We'll see the Buckeyes and Ohio State, 4th down. And Michigan will take over here with the final 3 minutes of this football game remaining.
Too much pressure. Lamar Woodley coming around the corner. Drew Tate had to step up on the play. Really didn't have time to wait for. Look at it. Lamar Woodley, look at it. It's exactly what he went to. The 3-man rush for the Michigan Wolverines is really going to give teams problems. Watch Woodley here. Got the big guy inside O'Feely right there, giving Gabe Watson a blow. Watch Woodley come around the corner, and that's all Drew Tate could do was try to avoid that guy.
So remember the top of the broadcast, one of our opening storylines. Iowa has never beaten Michigan 3 times in a row, and that still stands. The Hawkeyes came in here with a 2-game winning streak, and on their last visit to Ann Arbor, they embarrassed the Wolverines. They smacked them up alongside the helmet. And then last year down in Iowa City, they took advantage of a horrendous performance by the special teams down there, beat the Wolverines again, and now Kirk Ferentz with a young team, replacing his key offensive people. And this is another football team that's going to get better as the year moves on. He's a good football coach. He's got a good staff. And I'm like Gary. I come away very impressed with the performance of Drew Tate. I think the offensive line of the running game is still a work in progress, as it is at Michigan. 2nd down. And now, folks, time for the mad move of the week. You're going to love it. We welcome Dennis Lee, the new drum major at Michigan. Have you ever seen it done before, folks? Yeah. And that is your mad move of the week. Way to go, Dennis.
We've seen guys do it with the hat on, but not with the hat off like that.
I believe I've seen girls do it, but I'm not too sure how many boys I've seen do that. I'll tell
how many
you
dollar bills you got in your pocket?
Baby. 3rd down. Here comes Hart sprinting for a 1st down. Stops the clock.
What, is Arlene not watching this game?
No, it's too one-sided right now. She's gone. Our Chevrolet players of the game, even though he jumped offside a couple of times. Matt Roth was really good to watch today. Man, what a first step.
Yep.
And did a great job. And, of course, Braylon Edwards, 150 receiving yards, 2nd all-time, averaging 25 yards, the senior leader, and in recognition of their efforts, Chevrolet will make a $1,000 contribution to each university's general scholarship fund. Hey, on Monday, why don't you interview Braylon before the Michigan
Sounds
Indiana?
like a good idea.
That'd be great.
Braylon Edwards.
A little sound. Gary will be a little home thing.
Braylon is never short of words.
Now, here's the story. Here's the story, folks. Chad Henne took the knee immediately. Gets a little of a. Do you remember last week? Like some of you were here. That old rascal from San Diego State dang near took his head off when he was dancing to kill time.
He kind of deserved it. I mean, he backed up too far. You can't play with those linebackers like that. They don't like that.
There's our boy. He's just heard. The cell phone. He just found out he was on the tube. He said, no, don't say that. Oh, you can't beat the cell phone generation. So that's going to do it. And thanks to Steve Bime and Bobby Goodrich and all the boys down in the truck did a great job. And our PAs, Aflac and Jaybird, a comeback week for them. Kirk Ferentz, I will get better. Lloyd Carr doing great. And Michigan wins its Big Ten opener. And Lloyd Carr says, you have got to win the opener. Down we go to Jackaroo.
Coach, congratulations. You pointed out earlier this week that he who wins his Big Ten opener has got a better shot of going to the Rose Bowl.
Well, if you lose the first one, you got your backs against the wall. And, of course, at home, that's another big factor. So I'm really proud of the way we played today. We played great intensity and together and we made some mistakes. But we got better today, Jack.
Go celebrate with your team, Coach.
All right, Jack. Great job down there once again. The final score, 30-17, Michigan over Iowa. And ABC Sports is online at ESPN.com. Search ABC Sports. Stay tuned for the Thrifty Car Rental Report after this from our ABC station. So long, everybody.